during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill us. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master.
Yet it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Yet it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Blood diamonds in our veins, so we breathe free. Every nigga's a potential donor for a small fee. Over the years, I gave my blood, my sweat and tears. Upright, independent, and fearless, and it's all clear. They wanna see me on my knees with my hands out. But I refuse to be a bigger ninny chasing clout. Your favorite rapper, honor master, he's a faithful slave. Phallus worshiping pagan rights for minimum wage. And I say the things that these house niggas wanna say. Can't cancel me cause I'm the coach and watch me lead the way. My footprints are clearly cut cause I'm a big stepper. I leave eternal landmarks, therefore I live forever. My Moorish ties can never be severed. Medieval demons plot to earn acceptance. And I don't have to get ready because I stay ready. Recite these vanishing rituals, these are my confessions. And I got a 7-day theory like Machiavelli. That sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Yeah, it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Freedom of speech, just watch what you say. Them devils look for excuses to exercise their hate. Them soundbite manipulation justify the case. A pig's only agenda is to control our fate. So many snakes and I miss silent hissing like Judas. Filled in malice and greed, but still I see through them. And I can see it in their eyes, they pray for my demise. A crown of thorns upon my head, but yet I hold it high. And I walk with purpose and pride in every step I stride, cause I made a vow to the ancestors to ride or die. So I'm about a burden of many spirits and lost souls. Yeah, I'm captive within the struggle as I unfold. They hold the stripes on my back, look at my broken flesh. I'm speaking truth to power into my last breath. I hear true legends never die, and now I'm legendary. And I live forever through these lyrics even when I'm buried. Yeah, it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Yeah, it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Yeah, it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me. Yeah, it's that sacrilegious blasphemy, revolutionary speech to make them blasphemy. And I put it all on the line to see my people free, even if it leads to Roman legions crucifying me.
All right. Can you hear me, sister?
We can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Want to give honors to our family. You know, you already know we always rise upon the 7, you know, within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right. and give all praises to the great God. No matter who you call him by, whatever name or title you use, but we know he's within us. So we beyond the spookism. But we give honors to, the ancestors, everybody that came before us, paving the way. We give honors because we are the return of the ancient ones. We are the ones whom we await. The ones that we've been waiting on, we are them. And as soon as we embrace that, we will be liberated as a people. And I want to give honors to this panel. Honors to you, Sister Karima, and honors to the other goddess as well. I forgot her name, but I see Miss TJ. We give honors to you as well, for having me. And I just want to say all is well at this particular point. So if you have any questions, we can have that, and then we can move into the measure.
Yeah, pretty much explain to them the topic and move into the measure, because the only questions going to be asked is, do you need more time? Because we know you coming with the fire.
Oh yeah. We got some real good information.
I'm just sitting here listening.
Oh yeah. So our topic is again a Kebu-Lan, the indigenous name of Africa. And it's the indigenous name of the continent that we today call Africa. We want to just separate some of the myths from the reality, so to speak, and hopefully our people can move ahead, because we find some of everything to argue over, basically. And this is one of the topics that I see trending, dealing with our people. I just want to say honors as well to the people in the chat, those who have not arrived and those who have already arrived. Honors to all of you as well. But yeah, you don't hear many of our people go into things from the way that our ancestors taught. And that's one of the main problems that we've been facing as a people, is that they have been taking the narrative, or we have been taking the narrative of what somebody told us without doing the research. And that's why we continue to fall by climbing. And so I've seen our people really going back and forth at each other, dealing with this subject matter. And I gave a few measures on a few different platforms, and so basically I was getting ready to do this measure. As soon as I finished it, your message came to me, Karima. So it was meant for me to do this for this exact platform. Yeah, you got it fresh off the press. I'm talking about I literally had just exported the presentation, and I was getting ready to go live. So this is on point.
I feel honored.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm streaming to my platform as well, so everybody can get it. But yeah, a Kebu-Lan. And a lot of people say, well, where did this name come from? And a lot of people don't know. It's plenty of source material out there. And I'm gonna show I already know I'm gonna show you some stuff that most of our people probably never paid attention to, though it always been out there, Sister Karima. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna share my screen, but I want to try to make it condensed, but I don't want to rush it either. I want to make sure that we get this information to the people, because we got some real source material, and we're gonna go into this because everybody is quoting the same thing, even though it went over most of the people head in our community. So let me know when the screen is shared, family.
Your screen sharing, but it's on full screen. So
okay,
I'm showing everything.
Okay, that's cool. That way, when I start moving through the tabs, I'm moving, because sometimes when I try to put it on a single tab, I be building it.
Yeah, I understand. It's right there. Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm. And what we gonna demonstrate, family? We gonna demonstrate some, orthography, which deal with, maps and so forth and so on. Well, cartography, pardon self. Orthography dealing with etymology, etymological roots and words. We're gonna deal with a little archaeology and so forth and so on. These are the particular points that we're gonna deal with. Again, stuff that is actually dealing with maps, dealing with the language. The language is gonna be the most important part. And I'm dealing with the language that most of our people in this community are familiar with. You know, we're going to go into what I call strong words when it comes to the language. When I say strong words, I'm talking about words that exist simultaneously, you know, in 3 different cultures, but they all have the same meaning, even though they may have changed according to what we call a sound shift. Now, sound shifting deals with, for example, y'all heard people say ain't no J in the original Hebrew alphabet, right? But the word Y is used in the place. Or then if you go into another language like Greek, they use the word I. So this is called sound shifting. And a lot of times people don't notice that certain words are the same, but there's a sound shift, you know, but there is also an origin of a word to where you can trace it back to its etymological root. Most of the time when you can trace something on the etymological level, you can also trace it according to archaeology, you know, and that's actually where you can bring things together. And if we can go into the maps, then we'll have understanding as well, because we understand now where these different concepts come from when people say this is called Africa, that is called that, and then we understand who named it that and why they named it that, and so forth and so on. So that's what we're going to touch on tonight in this measure that I'm bringing forth. And in front of you, this is really just a random map to give an example of what I'm talking about when we talk about choreography. Right here in this map right here, look crazy. Y'all probably ain't never seen nothing that look this crazy, right? But this is one of the ancient, not ancient, it's an old map. Let's just say it's a classical map, because it ain't that old. But if you notice here, they actually say Arabia Felix. That's what that says. This would be the Arabian Peninsula right here. This would be the Nile Valley civilization right here. And you see different branches coming off of the Nile. And notice the word Ethiopia is right here, right? But then if you look up here at this top portion, this is North Africa right here. All this is North Africa. Some of these words they don't use in modern day language because a lot of it is Latin. But you notice Africa is just isolated to this top portion. It's not the whole of the map. And I'm going to show you exactly where Africa was located at on this map. And then I'm going to pull up another map following behind this one that's going to show you the same thing, which is one of the oldest maps that was actually used and presented to the public, you know, in the beginning. So you see Ethiopian interior. And this is basically what they have here for the lower portion on this particular map, right? Now, when you come up to the top of this map, you can see it right here. This is what Africa actually was located before the whole continent became known as Africa, and it was a Roman province. This is also known, if you ever heard of the Carthaginians, this was Carthage. You see, so this particular place that was known as Carthage, you know, was known as Africa. Africa was isolated to this little spot before it became known, you know, as the continent of Africa. And prior to that time, it was known by the name of Kebu-Lan. You see, and we're going to show that to you in a minute. So a lot of this is a lot of Latin here. You can see Libya right there. Even though it's Latin, you still can see.
I was just about to say that too. You can see Libya right there.
Yeah, you can see it. You know, because Latin ain't too far from us, you know, but these are the words that they were using during that time. Now, the next map that I'm getting ready to show you is in my slides. And it's going to go a little further. And then we're going to move slide by slide, and I go into everything here. So let me get it right here. That was the one that I was trying to pull up there. Yeah, this is the right one. But actually, I have it in the, I'd rather do it here. It's already in my arm. And this is being presented, family, you know, from the Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate. You know, that's what we have as our institution of teaching our people. It's called EARS, EARS, Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate. Academically, it's called EARS. You know, so hopefully our people hear with their hearts, because I have a breakdown on that as well. That's a whole nother measure. So we're going to go forward with these slides. Here's my first source. And this source is sourced by a lot of universities, so to speak. In fact, one of the portions that I have as another source in reference to this is going to be quoting this, and other scholars is quoting this. They are making reference to this information I'm getting ready to show you. Many of them, some of them are most of them are our scholars, but we also have even some of the Europeans admitting this. So, you know, when the adversary is agreeing with us, we're going to show that as well. So this book, you know, was written in the 1600s, you know, and you can look it up, you know, and find it in PDF form. It's easy to find. It may be in print, but I ain't real sure. But
Could you put the name of it in the chat?
yeah, I can do that right there. And I'll say it too real quick as I do put it in there. It's called Geography Rectified. And I'm gonna type this in the chat right now so that y'all can have it as well. It's called Geography Rectified, and it's actually written by Robert Morden. Let me do this right here. Yeah, so we got some grand drawings right here for y'all.
So you're putting it in this private tag back here on this StreamYard.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what I did. Okay, here we go right here. Sorry about that. Okay. And in this book, Geography Rectified, they're talking about maps, and they got a lot of locations. They talking about what these places was called and who called them. You know that. Let me see. Yeah, Robert Morden. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so yeah, you can find this thing. A lot of these books, these old books like this from the 1600s, when I tried to go back further than that, family, you know, it goes into Latin. And it's the same information, but they in Latin. You know, it's in Latin. You can see a little bit of it and recognize it, but you know, I got the first English version of this information. And he was basically citing information that was before him. But this is what most people are referencing. And a lot of people don't know about this source, though, that we put up here. You know, they don't even know, because they say, show me somewhere where a Kebu-Lan was used. You know, and I've been putting this out here for a minute. So if you look here, just blowing that up, look at what it says. It says a description of the world, right? In all its kingdoms, provinces, countries, islands, cities, towns, seas. And that's exactly what they covering in here. You know, bays, capes, ports, they're ancient. I want to say present. Yeah, ancient and present. That's a S right there, actually, in Latin. Names and inhabitants and situations and histories, customs, governments, etc. You know, and it goes on. It shows a whole bunch of things here, illustrated with 78 maps. And so this is one of the maps, you know, showing an expression of Africa here. So at the bottom of this map, this is what he states. Africa, he said, by the ancients was called Olympia, Hesperia, Oceania, Coripo, Ominous, Ortygia, and Ethiopia, right? Then he said by the Greeks and the Romans, Libya and Africa. So it was the Greeks and the Romans that used the terms Libya and Africa. And this is very important too, because people don't know that when you go through the time on these maps, some of these maps, you will find that the continent was actually called Libya. You know, some of them it was called Africa based on the time period it was in. I even got maps where the whole thing was called Mauritania. You know, so it all has to do with the time period. Y'all keep that in mind. So by the Ethiopians and the Moors, it was called a Kebu-Lan. So it was the Moors and the Ethiopians are the people of the Cushites, basically. You know, the Cushites and the Moors were the ones who called it a Kebu-Lan. So this means that all of the other names, you see, these names were called by different people. They had their own name they referred to the continent as, you know, but it was the Moors and the Ethiopians are the Cushites who referred to it as a Kebu-Lan. So they are the only people out of all the ones that's mentioned up here being, you know, what we call of melanated hue. So we should take what they say the name was. And if they say it was a Kebu-Lan, then it was a Kebu-Lan. All the other names are right, but that's what they was referring to it as, not us. And so once you understand that right there, that really, killed the whole conversation by an argument in regards to dealing with this. You shouldn't even have to argue after that, there, right? Now, I'm gonna show you something else too. Watch this. And this is just, common measures here, right? Okay, watch this. All you got to do is do this right here. And we're going to see what they say. See it? What's the original name of Africa? Look what came up. Kebu-Lan, right? The ancient name of Africa was Kebu-Lan.
That's right.
And it says mother of mankind or Garden of Eden. Kebu-Lan is the oldest and the only word of indigenous origin. Indigenous mean it was used by the original inhabitants, the people themselves. They gave it that name. It was used by the Moors, Nubians, Numidians, Carthaginians, which is another name for Carthaginians, and Ethiopians. This is common knowledge, and this is scholarly information. That's why it comes straight up. And if you hit it, it's going to come up. The same way, no matter how you go, it's going to keep coming up. See, in the World Atlas, so this ain't something being made up right here, but I'm finna show you, because the key is like, where does the etymology come from? Because that's what a conflict is. Everybody want to know, well, where does this etymology come from? Where does it mean? What language did it come from? And I'm going to be honest with you, family, you're going to find that it's actually rooted in many of the languages that we deal with now. So if you come here, everybody see somebody trying to debunk the claim, that it's a Kebu-Lan, and we can go on. Everybody know this is a Kebu-Lan, even though our people haven't fully adopted that yet. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is the best name to adopt. Why? Because we know where Africa come from. We know what is being stated in regards to dealing with that. We know the origins of that. Same people gave us the name Africa. The same people gave us the terms Negro, black, color, all that type of stuff right there as well. Those who know the history know what I'm talking about. So when we go further into this, and we understand that Kebu-Lan is the name that deal with the mother of mankind, the Garden of Eden, right? And
Right.
this is saying that the garden, in all actuality, didn't represent one spot, but the garden represent the planet as a whole. And once we get that, although we was planted in a particular spot, the garden to us represent the planet as a whole. So we as a people are indigenous to the planet, meaning that we was there first, everywhere. I don't care what nobody told you, what they say. We done proved this before already. Y'all done seen a lot of my slides, and I'll pull them up if need.
That's right. That's right.
If you go anywhere, you're going to find that we was there first, and everybody else came out of us. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different, family. So that's why we can be over here at one time, and also at the same time, some of our people be brought over here by the enemy. Because some of us were already here in the Americas, but some of us were brought over here as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. So both measures are true. And that ain't hard to comprehend.
Right.
That ain't hard to comprehend. Once you understand that, you won't be like, oh no, the slave trade, because I got stuff I can prove, slave voyages. I met the son of the world's greatest treasure hunter, Mel Fisher, his son Cain Fisher. And they had slave chains and shackles. Remember I showed that to you a while back, Sister Karima, with the babies and all that right there, the little baby.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that. I remember.
Yeah, and his father died looking for the lost city of Atlantis. But on the page, if you go to that, a lot of people using the website Slave Voyages now. And on those particular pages, you'll see that they actually have the same relics that come from Mel Fisher's diving. He dived and he found all that stuff, man. And I guess it was meant for me to meet his son. But, the government had went at them so hard because they were trying to get all that antiquity to where they killed his brother. They got a movie about it on YouTube. They made a movie, Pirates. They sunk the pirates in there and they shot him up, shot the boat up, basically. Cain them jumped off the boat and his brother drowned in the boat, because they was going to war in the courts with the government. And maritime law, they don't own nothing in the water, so everything that they own belong to them. So they're like, all right, y'all want to do this right here, y'all whoop this in court, so we're gonna go the dummy way. Send them pirates out there and go get them. And so when they was out there getting ready to dive, and they went out there to rob them. And this real spill, you can go look it up right now and look up who Mel Fisher is from Key West, and his son Kane Fisher. You'll see him on YouTube when he was young diving with his dad. But his daddy the one found the Pinta, he found the Santa Maria, and the Atocha. He found literal ships that had slave shackles and stuff on it, and he found gold bullion, which they set Kane up a few years ago as well, and tried to act like he was stealing out his dad's own museum. So that's the man that told me the man who owned the gold make the rules. I heard him say that he was trying to get me to invest in gold bullion because it's a tourist place, and up here off the coast, they actually bring I would say a replica type ship to come up here selling in this area, so people go up there and look at that off the coast up here because it sailed up here in this area where I'm at. That area out there, if I were to show it to you, it looked just like Africa too. So it shows you the oneness of the continent. If I were to show you pictures of St. Mark, I'm gonna show you real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I want y'all to have the visuals of this and see what St. Mark's, Florida looked like. And you'll see it, and I'm telling you, look, this thing look like you can shoot a movie in Africa. Look at that. Yeah, you can shoot a movie up here, man. I'm trying to find the picture where they just showing they showed the first picture. What that thing at? It's this picture I'm trying to show y'all. When you look at all that right there, see all the palm trees and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, but you can actually literally shoot it. And they done shot movies that's supposed to have been African type movies in these areas too. But that's where the little ship, the boat come. I worked on this too, this tower right here. I worked on the inside of it. Did work on it not too long ago. But that it's history right here. This is real history right here, family. That's the shackles and the chains of your ancestors. The ship that came up through here sailed all up here through this area along this coast right here. You see what I'm saying? So that is enough. When you go and look at it, if, like I said, you go into slave voyages, let me see right here. And I'm going to show that to you real quick. Because they got the time lapse. They show you where everybody come. I ain't going to go into all of it right now because I don't want to take away from everything that's being done. But if you come right here, you can go into this thing here and you can get all the resources in here. And it'll show you the image galleries in here. See, it got the registers of all the slaves. And yes, a lot of them was Moors too. That's another thing. A lot of these slaves was Moors that was brought up through here. These all the vessels, these the logs and everything, of some of the slaves that was brought in here. I want to get to those other ones real quick because they got so many, man, there's so much in here. Let me see. They got the databases. Most of our ancestors was taken from Dakar, what they call the door of no return. That's in Senegal. And at least that's where my DNA actually come up out of there. I'm trying to find them other pictures, some of the videos they had. What some of the pictures? See, this is one I was talking about right here. Slave ships. Where's that other one at though? I want to pull that other ship up. I mean, this site here, you can go through your whole, man, you can go through and find so much stuff in here. Where's the one right here? And these are the maps that they have in here showing you the different patterns, that they came out of. Remember, I was telling you about, this is the Senegambia. This is the area where a lot of our ancestors was took from. You see how many it said it was took? 700,000 756,000 was taken from this particular area. This ain't the only area because you see other areas over here, but the majority of them, because some of them didn't embark. Some of them died before they can reach.
Right, that's what I was just thinking too.
Yeah, and that's why they tell you that the
all.
sharks commonly still go down that pattern, because there was a trail of blood that was left there, and that's the same pattern that the hurricanes come from. That's why Brother Marcus Garvey said, "Look for me in the whirlwind." Even our brother Tupac in the song "Me and My Girlfriend," that's what he was alluding to when he said, "Lost in this whirlwind, 96 Bunny and Clyde, me and my girl." That's what he was alluding to. People didn't pick up on that. When he said "lost in the whirlwind," he was alluding to Marcus Garvey's speech. But the brother was over a lot of people's head.
It sure was.
And certain things he said real deep. He was able to bring you street, but at the same time bring you knowledge to wake you up. Revolutionary but gutter is what it was that he was demonstrating. That was his methodology. So yeah, I mean, you can get a chance, you can go in here. Like I said, I don't want to go through this whole thing here, but I just wanted to show you at least a few.
I've been in there before. They have the names of the slaves, and some of them are Yah.
Yep, that's right.
Them. I've been there.
That's right. And it's a wealth of information in here, man. Like it just go on and on and on and on. So I encourage anybody that want to know to come in here. But like I said, you'll see this stuff right here. Like I do this right here real quick too, so y'all can see this. I'm gonna just type Atocha in, and this is it'll give you the history behind this here. The Atocha. And it's going to tell you who found it. It tell you it was in the Florida Keys and all that right there. This was one of the ship of the Spaniards, and it talk about the sinking of it. It talk about the voyage of the ship, and it'll tell you who found the ship, and if you look right here, see where it said modern recovery and legal battle. Remember I was telling y'all about the San Margarita,
Right.
see who found it? Mel Fisher was the Mel. Yep, Mel Fisher found
1969.
That's right. Mel Fisher found it. Everywhere that man dropped his anchor, he found either gold or he found antiquity. And so look at all that right there. They telling you about, like I said, it's a movie about this here. But he died in 98, but the man died looking for the lost city of Atlantis. That's what his son told me. So, but yeah, it's powerful. So let me go further into what I was saying about the Kebu-Lan. I want to go back to that and go a little further because it's another portion out of the book. Let me see here. Trying to get back to my look. There we go. So here it is here. This is the same thing, just in black and white, but added on to it. And there's an emphasis going back to what I said about that map earlier. This is another map depicting the rulership of the Roman Empire. And if you look closely here, you're going to notice that Africa was a small spot up here under the Roman Empire. This was Libya at this time, right? As they were referring to it. They weren't referring to it as Africa. Even Mauritania, was up here in this spot. But in the new maps, you'll see Mauritania covers, everything that's below that right there. But it's almost like everything expanded out from the top and then end up covering the extremity of the whole map by the time it reached us in this modern time. So it followed up after what I had read to y'all earlier when it was saying that the land was named Kebu-Lan by the Moors. The following page states, by the Arabians, they called it Ifriqiya, right? Or Ifriqiya. And by the Indians, look like this says Borderkaf. And then it says by the Turks, Maghribun. And the word Maghrib actually comes from the Quran. Maghrib means land of the furthest west. The Arabs say it means the black land of the black people. This is Morocco, and all of that right there. And even Mauritania, because the word Maghrib is a name that was adopted from the Moors, you see? And so the Arabs pretty much picked it up from the Moors, but that's a whole nother measure as well. I'm going to show you that in a minute on the map that was created by the Moors, the Kebu-Lan map. But it says, but the most noted affiliation is Africa, meaning that's what most people accept it as in this modern time, either from Afir. Now, this is important because I'm going to touch on this right here and show you exactly what this word Afir means in the Hebrew. It's a Hebrew word signifying dust. It means dust, and that's an emphasis that we're going to point out. You know, so it's not that you are from Africa. You know, if Africa is from the word Afir, and Afir represents dust, then, you know, the word dust that was used in the Bible, as you will find in the book of Genesis, when it say man was made from the dust of the earth, that's the word they use, Afir. So Africa is not a place, but a substance of which a place is composed. You see what I'm saying? So Afir represents the dust, not the continent. So dust is on the ground, or dirt is on the ground, but a continent is a continent. It's made up of trees and everything, right? So it says, or from Ephraim, one of the nephews of Abraham, right? And you hear a lot of the Hebrew brothers quote this right here. They say the word Africa comes, you know, some of them will say that. But it says by the Greeks, fabulous. Also, it was called Afir, they say, you know, after a companion of Hercules. And then by the Arabians, Farouk, you know, which go right back to Afrikia, Farouk. They from the same root. Farouk and Farikia are Afrikia, same root family. That's what we have to understand by etymology. The Farik or Farouk is right here, F-R-I in the Q. It's still there, even though it's an I in front of it here and in front of it here. You know, so that's Farouk. It says it means divide or separate from the ancient name of Carthage called Africa, which I just showed you a few minutes ago. You see, and it says also by Bakatas from Farouk as well, a corn country. So here it is up here. This is that small portion called Africa before people started calling the whole continent Africa. It was just a small place. You see, so our ancestors didn't call it that. So everybody talking about they Africans and all that right there, you know, sadly mistaken. You've been fooled. And even Prophet Noble Drew Ali knew this. He said, what is the modern name, you know, that we give to the name of Mexim? Because we use that term of Mexim as well. You know, and the modern name for Mexim, which really means land of the gods, is Africa. You see what I'm saying? So Noble Drew Ali knew this, you know, way back then. So he had to be sharp on something. If everybody's still going to war behind the terminology, he told you that African was just a modern name that was used. You know, get a brother some credit, what credit due now. Now, this is that other map I told y'all I was going to show y'all. This is a very important map right here. Now, look at this. This is one of the first maps, and I'm going to show you this real quick before I even go into the map. The first maps that they use right here. Look, this is where I got it from, and I cropped it out and I put it in this this area right here. Here it is. See, it says the evolution of the map of Africa, right? And this is a 1554 map. And this is actually, it says Totuus, so to speak, Africae Tubal. Description, Universalis, Idem Ultra, Ptolemy. This is a Ptolemy-like map or whatever they want to call it. Not ancient Ptolemy, but, you know, they use that example. The earliest obtainable map of the whole continent of Africa. This was the earliest one because it was issued with some variations of Munster's. That's the person who created it, Munster. You know, very popular works of the geographer in 1540 to 1552. You know, and you can go look this up right here. You know, I ain't gonna read all of this stuff right here, but there is something I want to point out here because they criticize our brother. I want to say Dr. John, not Dr. John, but Dr. Ben. You know, a lot of brothers have turned against him because he mentioned the mountains of the moon, and they say that don't exist. The mountains of the moon do exist, and it's going to play a very key measure in this information right here. Mountain of the moon is a term that was used by Africans because we had tales that we would tell, like folklore, and the folklore was just the mountain of the moon, which actually deal with the Nile River, you know, actually where it branches off into the Niger. And actually it mentions that here. And it actually shows that in this map. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Listen to what it says. The map of Africa contains many interesting, if not curious, features. One-eyed giant sitting over Nigeria and the Cameroon, representing the mythical tribe of Monkuli. It says a dense forest located in today's Sahara Desert and an elephant filling southern Africa. It says the Niger River begins and ends in lakes. The source of the Nile lies in two lakes fed by waters. And this is the important part right here. From the fabled mountains of the moon. Now, this is a European source talking about the mountains of the moon. So when brother Dr. Ben say the people come from the mountains of the moon, dealing with the Nile Valley civilization, the White Nile, I'm going to show you exactly what he was referring to. And
Yeah.
the brother Sheikh, go ahead, sister. And our brother Sheikh Anta Diop mentioned that too here in his book that I got in my hand, The African Origin of Civilization, on page 180. This is what he says. He says, others erudite dreamers and ingenious philologists, instead of seeking the early history of Africans and traditions, it says now almost lost, have preferred to seek risky hypotheses, and their conjectural narrations present the European as the oldest man created. It says son of the soil and of chance, born in snowy mountains of the moon, Central Africa, which later cradled the man who went down into Sinai and engendered the Egyptian and the Arab and the people of Atlantis. You know, the black race long, it says the most numerous, and first overpowered and dominated the whites, but later having gradually multiplied, shook off the yoke of their masters. The ex-slave becoming the master in his turn condemned the blacks and to bear the chains that he had just broken. Centuries have passed, but his anger is not yet appeased. You know, and he talking about the people that basically end up becoming pretty much our seeds, our children upset with us. They mad with us. That's why they do what they do to us. Talking about the European and everybody else that follow that ideology. So it went on, and he talked about graphically presenting a small town of brown mounds. Several kingdoms are noted, including that of a legendary Prester John Ortelius's Presbytery Johannes map of the Central Africa section for further discussion of him, as well as Meroe. Meroe is another name for Kush, you know, what we call, you know, Nubia. You know, the mythical tombs of the Nubian kings, few coastal towns are noted. You know, it says, and there's no Madagascar yet. In other words, they hadn't started putting them on maps. So it goes on, family, and it's giving you some background on this map right here. But nevertheless, it talks about, you know, the rivers and everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into it. I already got it in my slides, but I'll pull it up here since I'm here, because there's some things I want y'all to see on this first map that was mentioned by Africa. Look at this word right here, Karima. What is that?
Where is it at?
With my cursor at right here. Let me blow it up. See that word Mari?
Yep, I see it.
Remember, I always tell you.
Oh, yeah, they had a debate on that word too.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. This is an indigenous word right here. This word was actually given to, you know, the region by the people.
That's a title?
It's actually a name of a people.
Yeah, name of a, yeah.
But the word more actually come from this word. But this word go all the way back to Egypt.
Right.
You know, I've been talking about that for some moons now since I've been on here.
Hey, Solar.
But also, you know, if you notice, there are certain information.
How you doing?
Yeah, we doing all right, brother. How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. So right here we have Africa in a small spot, isolated up here. You see, it says Tunisia right there. Yeah, so this is where Africa was before this whole thing became known as Africa. See, Libya down here, Ethiopia here. Now, what they do have down here in the bottom, there's another portion that they call Africae Extremitas. And this is important. I want you to remember this name when I go into these words.
What's the difference?
Basically, they're trying to say that this is the extreme distance, so to speak, you know, that they came up with. of what they call Afrique. Now this is Afrique and this is Africa. You see what I'm saying? And so what ends up happening is that this extremity ends up expanding in the modern time to be Africa. You see, just because people start using that right there. So I'm going to show you how the extremities before that were known as Africa, and I'm going to show you that through etymology. That's what I'm getting ready to go into. It was actually a Kebu-Lan that was the original extremity that expanded across the whole continent. You see? So you can see some of the same stuff, though, in the modern maps. You see Libya, you see Nubia right here. This is the Nile Valley. This is Meroe, Kush that I was just telling you about.
I was just saying that.
Yep. And this would be what they call the Lower Nile. Even though it's up here, it's called the Lower Nile, and this is called the Upper Nile. See, it says Nile River, Nilius River, right here.
Okay.
And so this would be the Upper Nile when you come further up here. In fact, my DNA come up out of this region right here, according to, what they sent me back. So this is where your 4 branches break off at. This is the real concept of the Garden of Eden. A lot of people don't know that. Them 4 branches that they talk about in the Bible, and even if you look at the 4 rivers, the Euphrates, the Gihon, the Pishon, the Tigris, or Tigris, as some people like to call it. If you take away all of those letters on the front of the words, acronymically, you will see E, G, P, and T, which is actually Egypt. I don't know, you can call it coincidence or whatever you want to call it. But when you break them 4 rivers down, if you remove every letter, acronymically, they had Egypt. And so I do know right here, this is where these 4 rivers breaking out. Nowhere else were they trying to give you that type of history. Because it tells you also in the Bible, it said that gold is found in this land. This is the river that surround the land of Cush. So that automatically should let you know where the Garden of Eden was located at right there when the Bible tells you that. When they said that it was the land of gold and Cush, you automatically know it's talking about this same region I'm pointing out over here. You see? So, moving on to go into the slides a little further, because we're going to make this thing plain and clear. Now that we've seen this map and we see Africa was just a small province up here on the original map from 1544, now let's go on to the next drawing and get into a Kebu-Lan. Now we need to know the etymology, because this is what people trying to figure. It came from Arabic. There's some partial truth to that right there, but we got to get into how that is so, because it didn't solely come from Arabic, because the Arabic term came from somewhere. You see? And we're going to get into that in a second.
Yeah,
so
make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense.
Right. So a Kebu-Lan. So what is the etymological root of this word? Now we know it was the Moors that gave it this name. So they added the article al there, right? Because they were dealing, there is a such thing too as Moorish Arabic. A lot of people don't know that either. But that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, the Moors gave it. This is the real root, family. Even though Kebu is the main source, the root of it is Keb. You see? That's your etymology. This is basically land, as in land, like real land. That's just another way of saying land. Right. But here, Keb, going back to Kemet, is Geb, which is said to be the father of all Sar. What does Geb represent? The earth. So when you hear Al-Kebu-Lan being, the mother of mankind, now it makes sense when you talk about the mother of mankind, the earth and so forth, Mother Earth, right? But anyway, you go into Keb, also they spell it sometime this way, because this is the sound shifting I was talking about. You spell sometime with a Q, in the Kemetic language, depending on who it is that you're dealing with. Some of them use G, some of them use Q, some of them use K, and even they use the word Seb also, but the main ones that are relative to each other is G, Q, and K. Right. These words are interchangeable. These letters are interchangeable with each other. In fact, I'm going to show it to you real quick, because I can show our family better than I can just tell them. So I'm going to show you real quick in our chart because I just created a chart also on translating the language. We're dealing with some translating the language right now from the hieratic. That ain't the one I'm looking for right there. And I'm gonna open this up to show you this. Where you at? Where you at? Okay. Oh, I'll do it like this right here. I'll go here. It's a hieratic master key chart that I created to be able to transliterate hieratic. Where it said I got it here. I just had it. I want to show y'all this sound shift. Okay, not that one, not that one. Where in the world are you at? I got so much up here hiding off in here somewhere. Okay, we'll do it this way right here then. Just go here to my documents. Because I see it ain't pulling right there. I know it's over here though. That's the problem. I got too much over here. Let's see here. There you go, right there. I just created this right here. We getting ready to deal with this language. Y'all come to our little classes on the weekend too, family. You can check them out. So this is dealing with the language right here. I'm proving that all this language right here come from one place. The hieratic gave birth to the Phoenician, and it's Phoenician that gave birth to what we call Hebrew and Arabic. That's a whole nother subject, but I'm going to show you the sound shift right here. So this is my chart created on the sound shift. And if you look down here, you'll notice that every word, not word, but letter that coincides with each other letter, I have them all here in one area. For example, they'll have CH, KH, and this look like an X, but that's really K when you're dealing with it comedically.
He got a presentation.
You see what I'm saying? And so it goes all the way. See how you have the I and the Y? Because there's a sound shift between I and Y. Even with the letters V, B, P, and F, there's a change between them. So whatever language you go into, they adopted those things. So you see how the Q and the K right here is interchangeable? So that's where the Keb and the Geb come from. You see? And so I did that to show you that linguistically real quick, because I want to make sure y'all understand where I'm coming from when I say sound shift. Right?
Just like that one Ifa or whatever that word was, they both had the same, but it was a sound shift, but it was the same. So I noticed in the first demonstration you did.
That's right. And you can see it. A lot of you can see, like you can tell that is people think, oh no, that's pseudo. No, it ain't pseudo. Because them words change based on the alphabet chart that was created by the people who created the chart. That's why the G becomes a K here. Or like normally it's A, B, G, D in what they call abjad languages. But guess what the G becomes in our language? It becomes the C. In other languages, it becomes the K. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they give the Keb and the Geb. They sound just alike.
Yeah.
You know? So, but this means earth. So when we say a Kebu-Lan has to do with the name of Africa, you know, original continent, it's really talking about the whole of the earth. So a Kebu-Lan represent, like I say, the whole expression of that right there to us. That earth land that we call a continent of Africa. So even with the word Kim, meaning they talk about the black land or the land, if you sound shifting the last letter, which is M, which is interchangeable with B, Kim becomes Al-Keb. You see that?
Say it again.
I say even with Kim, you know, some people call Kim the land of the blacks, right?
Right. The last word you said.
Yeah, but then we say Keb because what it is, the M sound shifts to the letter B. A lot of people don't know that, but linguistically, B is interchangeable with the letter M. So if you change the M in Kim to B, it becomes Al-Keb.
Al-Keb.
Al-Keb, yep, which is also connecting right back to Al-Kebu-Lan. You see? Now, I'm going to prove this in a second because I'm going into the Arabic now. And this is where it get good. This is why they say that the word is from Arabic. Partial truth to that, but the Arabic word again has an origin as well, and that's the part that ain't being addressed. You know, Arabic came from somewhere, you know, and the Hebrew has a term, but it came from somewhere as well. You see what I'm saying? They both came from the same source. So the two languages, Arabic and Hebrew, came from a more ancient source. And y'all probably already got the idea. So let's look at the root words dealing with this Kaaba. So here's the sound shift. Akaba, right? It means to succeed, take place of, to come after, strike on the heel, to follow anyone. You know, this is like a lineage, ancestors, offspring. See what it says? To endeavor, to repeatedly return. It says to punish, to requite, to retrace one step. Akab, you know, to die, leave offsprings. Akabatun, place, hard to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you see how many words, and when it changes,
yeah,
you see the sound shift and it becomes a different word. Now watch this one. It says Akub. You see, if you were to place it Akub, if we say Bulan, there you go. Hill, son, grandson, offspring, pivot. Very important. Axis. An axis point is something around which everything pivots. It's a pivot point. So when we refer to, some people say Africa is heartland Africa. It's the axis around which everything else revolves. You know, even the Polaris, you know, revolves around the continent of Africa, the Big Dipper and Little Dipper. This is where we get into the Axum and Oxumite concept and why we call it the land of the gods. But that's a whole nother lesson right there. The axis. This is the heartland. You see what I'm saying? And that's important. So it goes on and give you many different definitions over here in Arabic. But I want to go over here now to Qibla. You ever heard Muslims say that when they got into it with the Jews or the Israelites, God told them to turn away from the Qibla that they was facing, because the Muslims used to face Jerusalem for prayer. But then they was told to turn away from Jerusalem when it was seen that they was rejecting the message that Muhammad was bringing. So Allah told them to turn away from the Qibla, but that was just a physical turn. But the true concept of turning away from the Qibla, you know, has to do with turning in the heart, because you can turn your body away from that, but if your mind is still there, you see the example where we have with Lot wife.
Exactly.
Just like some of us, we can act like we turn toward away from our old way, but if you still got that mindset, you ain't really turned away. Exactly. So to repent means to clearly turn all the way away. Give it all up. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Qibla means. It means to accept.
Who you fooling?
You see what I'm saying? So it means to accept, to admit, to receive, to agree, to meet anyone. Now, there's some more definitions in here, and I didn't put them in here, family, and it has to do with to bend over, to pray, to prostrate. And this is in the Kemetic language, right? But it's also in the Hebrew, and it's also in the Arabic. Words that go back to the same root right here that's talking about praying. And I thought about it. Why I keep saying praying, you know, and prostrating. I say, wow, it's telling us to face our mother continent. It's telling us to rever the womb that bore us. Like the Quran say, rever your mother. Rever your motherland. Honor your motherland. Or we say honor your mother and your father that your days may be long. Right. A lot of people think that's just dealing with your physical. No, your mother and your father really represent your nationality and your divine creed, your true origin. That's your mother and your father. Your mother is the one that gives you, she your first teacher. So she gives you the divine creed. You feel me? Your father is the one through who your descent nature come from. So that's what we mean when we say honor your mother and your father, though we do honor our physical mother and father as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it goes on. It says before, the forepart, face to face, before, also plural, kabilun. Remember this word, kabilun. And then it says also in host, Kebu-Lan, power, right? Qibla, towards the direction of facing alongside the point of direction of which prayer is performed. Remember, I was telling you prostration? There it is. The Kaaba at the Mecca, the place of worship, the Kebu-Lan. See, this is what the Moors was drawing from when they come up with this, but they also had knowledge of the original origin of this word, because it go deeper than this now. This is just the Arabic aspect. It's Quranic Arabic. Favorable reception, acceptance. Kabilun, tribes. What tribe? You see what I'm saying? Now you're getting into dealing with people now. Kabilatun, Kabil tribe, Akbala, to come near, to draw near, to approach toward, rush upon. Remember these definitions, because they're going to come up again. It says Mustakbilun. You see? Now watch this. It goes deeper. You see how much, Sister Karima, it takes to explain just one word?
They say Mustakbilun.
Yeah, Mustakbilun. Mustakbilun. That's another way, of and that means to proceed towards, heading towards, drawing from the same root, but just another word. And so these are all the other words here. Takbala, all that right there. We ain't got to go into that, but we will go into this one right here at the end, which is most important. Right here. Kebu-Lan. See what I'm saying? Acceptor. Kabbalatun. Direction again. Point toward which one turns his face. It says in the religious uses, it says in the direction toward, it says which one turns his face when saying his prayer. Again, that's the direction. But it says Kebu-Lan, Kebu-Lan, right? Face to face, the tribes. So if you face the direction, of your ancestors, your ancestors who are composed of tribes, you face the motherland. You see, the source from whence you come, it makes sense when you understand it like that, right? But it goes on and it speaks of before, formerly, preposition, possessors, and it goes into, again, Kebu-Lan, right? Kebu-Lan, right? Now, this is Arabic. So we can see where the Moors was drawing from and why everybody say, well, it has an Arabic origin. Okay, we can see that here. We ain't denying that. But like I said, go deeper. And this is what we get deep at. Let's go into the Bible now. This is how you know the Arabs and the Israelites definitely come from the same bloodline, because their language, though they are different in dialect, they have the same words. And this is what I was talking about when I said strong word. Now we finna get into some of this cartography and the map and connect it to this this etymology. Watch this, Sister Karima. Kub. This is a Hebrew word, right? In the Bible. And they spell it sometimes C-H-U-B. And listen to what they say about this. It's coming from the Exhaustive Strongs. When you come down here, they actually quote, and this is actually in the Bible, it talks about this, Ezekiel 30. See it right there, and all mingled people, and Kub, the men, all Arabia, Kub, and the people of the land. Kub actually represent the people of a land, but it go deeper than that. It go deeper than that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. See, it says up here as well, Lubim. This is another name for Libya. This is also a name for Libya and Put. So this is going right back to the same places we was pointing at on the map. Punt.
Lubian?
Yeah, Lubium. That's another name for Libya.
Oh.
Yeah, in the biblical. And Put, and Kub. See what it says right here? Kub, a foreign derivation, meaning that name was adopted in the Hebrew. Kub comes into Hebrew from somewhere. Kub, a country near Egypt.
Okay.
And they are talking about Libya, basically. You see? So Libya has a place in this area that's there. But I'm going to show you something, because there's some people that's in the same region that's African living right now, and they're going to be connected to the same thing. So we see now this name Kub being connected to a particular place as well. And we're going to see how it becomes a name that stretches as the extremity of the country, meaning it covers the whole country. I'm just showing you in the Arabic, and I'm showing you now in the Hebrew, that they both have different expressions. All it is dialectal changes. Here's another one. You ever heard of Mount Jebel? Where General Tariq the Moor was, and they call it the Rock of Gibraltar. It's in the Iberian Peninsula. This is connected to that same name. Even though it's used in Arabic, there's a Hebrew word that corresponds with that. See, that's why I keep telling our family, and I had to tell some of them brothers that I ran into some of them Israel Church of Christ brothers, and I was trying to tell them, bro, y'all blaspheming against the Most High and don't even know it. When they be speaking out against, oh, Allah, this and that, you do know Hebrew. The word Allah is in Hebrew for God as well, right? It's just spelled A-H-L-A-H, which means the Most High God.
Right.
I ran Captain Tazariot out the bike chat with that a few years ago. You know what I mean? Just like the name Yahweh. There's an Arabic equivalent, which is Yahuwah. It's talking about the same individual. Problem is that a lot of our brothers is going off that Jewish narrative and don't even know it, and they really teaching a Zionist philosophy in the name of saying that they're Israelites. Not all our brothers, but some of them don't even know it. You basically a Christian claiming to be Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? Which is that what you want to be, all is well, but we got to put things in the proper perspective, and then we'll have some clarity.
Right.
You know, that ain't no attack on our Hebrew brothers. If it shoe fit, wear you. If it don't fit you, then don't respond to that. You ain't got no business feeling like I'm attacking you. I'm talking about people that don't know. So anyway, it says here, Jebul. Listen to what this word means: border, boundary, right? And it goes deeper into it. It also means barrier, area, borders, boundary, coastline, districts, land, line, territories. So this is an area where it is basically being, let's say it was roped off, so to speak.
Right.
You know, as one territory. It's inclusive. All inclusive is what's being said here, right? This is how you come up with empires and kingdoms. And so they have borders, boundaries, they are territories.
And this is the same exact meaning of how you different meanings. I mean, same words. I mean, not different words, but got the same meanings to it. You know.
That's right. That's right. And people don't understand. They arguing over different words that came during different time periods, but still referring to the same place. So see how they say the territory of the Canaanites. You know, all this coming from Strong's. The border of the Canaanites, they're just giving examples on how you got different borders, all the way to the borders of Egypt that were in all the borders round about. So let's think about the whole continent of Africa. Now, this is going to become plainer when I take you into Strong's because it go deeper when you go in there. Remember, I was showing you the Geb in the beginning? Look, in the Hebrew, look at what the word Geb means. Gebi. It means, right? It says unused root, probably to collect a reservoir by anal, a marsh. Now, anybody know this marsh that we talking about? We dealing with land, right? We dealing with land. And so this is Gebi in the Hebrew, corresponding with the word Keb in the Kemetic or the Egyptian term I showed you in the beginning. You see? Now watch this. Go over here. Let's go into the word Jebul that I just went over again. It means boundary, limit, territory, closed area.
Oh, okay.
Jebul literally means boundary or border. This means appears in, and it shows you everywhere it appears in the Bible. You know, they had them all throughout the book, but I want to get down to this right here. This is the most important one. Remember, I was talking about that extremity, how they used Africa and made it basically span across the whole continent. Jebul can suggest the furthest extremity of a thing. So this is the expansion. Now, sound shift this back to the K. And what does that become, Sister Karima? Kebu.
Exactly.
Kebu.
Go back
now,
up
this
a little
is Hebrew bit. Now. Go ahead.
Just go back up just a little bit.
Okay, talking about where I was here.
Like Moabites, right? Okay. We was dealing with that.
Oh, you talking about the Moabites?
Yeah, this whole little scripture we was dealing with.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
The land, the territory, the boundary. We was just talking about that.
Yeah. And in the scripture that I had earlier for this one was the one I used here. That's Ezekiel 35 right there. And that's what it's talking about when they say all mingled people. That means everybody of the continent. You talking about the whole continent. See, it saying the people of the land. So this is Kub. Remember, Kub.
Yeah.
That's the root. Remember, Kub is the root in which the whole land was being referred to. So when you understand this Kub and you connect it right here back down to this word that we was talking about earlier, and it goes to the furthest extremity. Now, Kebu becomes the furthest extremity, expanding all the way over the continent. Okay. You can see in the Hebrew that this word connects to the same definition.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's showing you the fullest extremity. Kebu in the Hebrew now. Now watch this. This is the root of the word Kub here. Look at what it says again. I got to take it in a little bit because it ain't letting me get it over there. Go right there. See what it says? Kub. A country near Egypt. And that's a CHUB right there is what it's saying. So this is Kub. Same thing.
Right.
So this is the root that we're tracing. When I say we tracing Kebu-Lan, the root is Q, and this is Ku. The only difference is the vowel. Nothing wrong with it being a U instead of an E, because it's still saying the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Some people will isolate, the U and the W, because the W basically is really another expression from whence vowels are born as well. That's a whole nother measure though. It coincides with the U. The U and the W can go. You can take the U out and the W still there and
It's
still
still gonna sound the same. Yeah.
it's still gonna be the same. You can take both of them out in like original Hebrew was without no vowel, and then you got K and B. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's the same if I would have did it with the Q and the B, and so forth and so on. So we can see the Hebrew has words that are coincide with the Egyptian words. Facts. The Arabic word got words that coincide with the Egyptian words as well. So this shows you that the language that was more ancient would be the parent language. So the Kemetic language gave birth to what we call again Arabic and Hebrew.
Yeah.
They came through the Phoenician though. The Phoenician was the middleman language, that gave birth to the Hebrew, and then your Arabic came later. You see what I'm saying? And other languages followed that up, but they all go back to the original language, which was hieratic. But I get into that at another time. That's a whole nother lesson. Yeah. So what I did here, I had already put this together before I put this slide together, and I already had posted this dealing with a Kebu-Lan. And I want you to see this right here, because this is Amen, right? And look at what I seen in this. It says Amen, right? Or Haman. They're doing a sound shift right here. See how they had the H up here, and then it's A right here without the H? Amen and Haman. Same thing. And they say Hamaun, same thing, right? Jupiter, Amen, celebrated god of the Egyptians, was probably a deification of Ham, whose posterity peopled Africa, right? And who was the father of Mitzrayim, the founder of Egyptian polity and power. Amen had famous temple in Africa where he was adored on the symbolic figure of the ram, and even the Moors, before they came into Islam, a lot of people don't know, the Moors venerated Amen Ra. If you want to know what the Moors were doing, they were actually dealing with some Kemetic teachings. But that's a whole nother teaching. Brother G.M. James tell you that in Stolen Legacy that the Moors were the custodians of the wisdom. But it says it was situated in a delicious spot, oasis. It says in the midst of frightful desert, where was an oracle, it says, of great fame. It says in which Alexander the Great, or the Greek I like to call him, consulted at the risk of his life. It has been thought that Amen is an Egyptian compound, Ham-Un, or Hamun. Ham, the son, On, being of Egyptian name, for that luminary afterwards idolatrously referred to Ham. And then they quote Joshua 7:2. So what I show here is that when you go into the Arabic, how they was talking about the sound shift here, right? The root word Hama is used in Arabic, and it refers to the mud that man was created from. As it say, man was created from black mud in the Quran, and it's called Hama'un, right? Black-feeted mud. It says combination of the earth and the water, having the source of the body, water of the soul or life. Mud transmuted or molded into shape, slack mud. Hami'atun, a Hami'un. So there's a connection between this man being created from black mud, so to speak, when you go to this name Kim. Because Ham and Kim is the same thing. There's just a K that has been dropped from the word Ham. You see? So Kim, Ka, the land of Ham, A, Ka, Ba, La, Nu. Kebu-Lan. When you break all of that right there down, elements that represent this, right? So, I even quoted the same thing where it says, so man saw the soil in the corner side of life, this is Moorish Holy Quran, in the darksomeness of the earth. Then we just tell you man was made from what they call black-feeted mud. So, okay, now that we understand all of this right here, come back down to Cam with the sound shift again. Ham is the hot, warm, applicable to north of Africa, where the Numidians and the dark and swarthy Mauritanians or Moors worship Amen Ra. Amen, Amun, the sun, otherwise known as Jupiter. Amen, represented by Ham. This is how powerful etymology is. You see that, Sister Karima?
I do.
In the Hebrew, the Arabic, and the Kemetic language. Man, they better stop playing. Now watch this. Watch this. Now let's get deep into this Kebu-Lan. Let's go where they really get this stuff from. Because it's a lot of words in here. And it's going to make sense. Now here's one. Keb, right? In one aspect, Keb represents marsh, swamp. And I'm just pulling all the words up because they do attach to each other in a certain way. Keb here represents honey, plant, or flower. Keb here represents lotus. All of these things will be found in a garden of Eden-like environment, right? So now when we go to the next measure here,
right,
let's deal with the sound shift as we get to Kebu. Kebu here, listen to what it says. Cool water, libation, the watery mass of heaven, the celestial abyss. That's Garden of Eden action there. Kebu. So in the Egyptian, we find a word that's speaking of Kebu, that's speaking of a scene that is Eden-like. Right here, Kebu. So we see a whole bunch of links coming from many different aspects that's expressing the same thing. So this Kebu-Lan thing ain't something that was just made up, is it? So it goes on, it says Kebu, the next word here. Look what it says. Cataract region, lands flooded by the Nile, the great deep of heaven. What else you know is heaven on earth but the Garden of Eden?
Right.
But they're referring to it as, again, Kebu. And if you put Al here and you put land on the end, El Kebu, land, what you got? The Garden of Eden. So here it is again. Another word. They say Kebu, which means the internal cause of a serpent. Keb, the name of a many-colored mythological serpent. Now, this is talking about a serpent that coils up into a circle. Anybody that ever seen the city of Atlantis, which they also connect as being, the origin of the gods, it was in a circular-like fashion. Even right now, if we go over there and look at the Richat structure, you seen me pull it up a couple of times, Sister Karima. If I pull it up, it's circular, eccentric circles. And that's really what's being referred to here. It also goes on, it says circuit, or company, or group, or orders. Remember we was talking about the tribes and all of that right there? The Great Assembly. Kebu, Keb, right? Why is this a Kebu-Lan or this Keb in the Kemetic aspect connecting to people, land? People, land. So in other words, there has to be some credence to a Kebu-Lan. We've seen it in the Arabic, we see it in the Hebrew. We see it's dealing with the extremity of the land as well when we get into the Hebrew. Here's another measure over here. In the in the Kemetic language again. Kab, Akab, Imkab, within the middle of a thing. Remember we was talking about the heart?
Right.
The heart would be the mental or the center of the body, correct? Just like a Kebu-Lan would be the center or the middle of the earth. Everything revolves around a Kebu-Lan. The boundaries and the extremities and it being closed in its own territory, it all makes sense now when we look at it through the eyes of etymology and the maps, right? So we have Kab, which they say intestines are interior of the body as well. Kabu, also going back again to the folds of the serpents, the winding coils. So they go to the center of that circle. The windings of the lake of Ka, mythological serpent, and then the innermost part of the other world, Kab-e-Amen. So we see that when we're talking about the middle of something, or we're talking about the center of something, they refer to it as Kab, Kabu, Kib. When they referring to, again, celestial-like, Garden of Eden-like environment, Kebu. Plants dealing with the garden, Kebu. So we can see easily how this word end up coming into the Arabic or the Hebrew, and then it takes on that form, and then later on we see a Kebu-Lan being used by the Moors who were speaking these languages. It makes sense now, don't it? So
sure do.
Here's another measure right here. And this is a different dictionary, Egyptian dictionary, windings of the waterway. You know, they was talking about the circles with the water, interior, middle of the land. You know, again, Kebu and these same definition, just a different dictionary. And if you notice, there's a sound shift going on here, the way they spelling them. You see what I'm saying? They ain't spelling them exactly how you see it there, but they are similar. Just changes in the vowels and the way that they expressing it. Remember I told you about the definition of the word gib? Gib, you know, which is keb.
Mm-hmm.
That's the earth. You see? Here again, akeb. Akeb, the Nile and its flood. Everything keep going back to the land and some water. Garden like Eden like environment.
Right.
Resin purpose. So if all these words keep going back etymologically to the same thing, it's quite naturally easy to accept that they pretty much was referencing
exactly
the same thing, just
the
in different
same
language.
meaning. Yeah.
See? Like even the root word just kui, or key, alone, ground, earth, estate. You know what an earth estate? That's the whole thing. That's a vast territory. You talking about the ground, the earth, the whole estate? That's vast. That's that territory. That's the extremities again expanding, like we said. Then you have kept. This is actually kept. This is a hard K right here, which means what? A kind of land, grounds for recreation part and stuff. Now that definitely sounds like some Garden of Eden stuff there. You talking about creating something? Okay, Keb again, staff, septia, stick, rod. Also kept kind of shrub. You know, again, kebit, you know, a plant. So this thing stays close to dealing with plants and land. When we no matter where we go, no matter how they may add a T
And
on
water.
it.
And water.
You see what I'm saying? Even here where it says utkep, listen to what it says: riverbank, any ground by the side of a canal or stream. If that ain't, listen, fields which have been planted. If that ain't Garden of Eden activity, I don't know what it is. But notice the root that's there. That keb, utkep. Same thing. No matter where you go. Over here, I kept. Now this is going into the weep, the lament, cry, you know, akibu, weepers, mourners. And they actually have words in the Arabic and the Hebrew that correspond with this, but I didn't put them all in here because I didn't feel like I needed to go into that. But when we go into the aspect of dealing with, you know, Akbiu, a group of 4 weeping gods, you know, and goddesses, you know, symbolically, comedically, they called the waters of the Nile the tears of Ra, so to speak, or the tears of Isis. You see what I'm saying? So when you say weeping goddess, you know, Akibu, it all makes sense if you understand and you following this measure.
Yeah.
So now when we go into the word boo and we isolate boo alone, the B and the U, first we have a place, a house, a site, because we already know we're talking about a garden. We're talking about, you know, a land, but this is talking about an actual place, boo, akibu, you know, a place, a garden, you know, within a place. We say Eden because that's what we normally use. You feel me? And then it says buhe, a place of eternity. So this word boo we see really represents a place. You know, no matter where you go, see bukir, place below or under, be, shrubs among which Osiris was buried, a kind of shrub, be. So we see the boo, the be, all of that is referring to a place. See, bua, place. Akibu. Akibu. When you add them together, come on, man. You talking about a real place. And we just showed you what the places were. We just showed you how far the extremities expand when we went into the etymology.
Right.
You know, all you need now is to know where the place is, the land, Akibu land. And that right there pretty much killing. We can go on and go overkill with it. But we should see that this root boo, you know, it constantly represents places.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are places. Akibu and then land. So what they had here, as you heard me talking about put and all that, people didn't know that put on certain maps stretched all the way over here. Libya, remember I told you they was map? And they got Africa here on this map. And they depicted everything that I just said. But this is not the original name. This became the name when it became accepted. And they expanded the extremities of Africa from the bottom. Remember in that map I showed you? and they expanded it all the way across the continent. But prior to that, it was already known as a Kebu-Lan, named by the ancestors. So now when we get into the word, remember I told you I was going to go into this word afar, because we talked about that. Remember I was reading it to you earlier, and where they come up with the name Africa. So if they are tracing it back to this word afar or Afrikia, because the F would be interchangeable with the letter P. You know, the H would remain the same and the I would come up there, and then they would put a K at the end, Afrikia. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is that this is the dirt. This is the dust. Dust is upon the continent. The dust is not the continent.
Right.
So when they say you was Africa was eating, no, the dust was in it, made up, you know, what man was created from physically, but the continent itself was different from the dust. Dust was on the continent. So Africa was on a Kebu-Lan. You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah. That if we run it now, we just dealing with etymology, you know. And so what happened is people start referring to the whole continent, you know, basically as Africa, and they saying if it go back here, then that means you got to accept that what you calling the world dust. That don't make no sense. I mean, we understand that dust is on the world, but so what? Who are we, the dust people? So let me stop. It's crazy, but this is the type of thing that happens when we don't know etymology. Ain't that crazy, Sister Karima? We running around here talking about we dust people. We dirty. Goodness gracious. You know, but when we go back to the origin and realize that a Kebu-Lan was the word from our ancestors, we won't get offended and try to defend no Africa.
Right.
And say, oh, he hate Africa. No, you don't have knowledge of Africa, sir. That's why you think I hate Africa. I don't hate nothing. I'm just trying to give you the proper knowledge of what Africa really is, as opposed to what you've been taught it was. Call yourself a Kebu-Lan, because that right there make you indigenous, and all of our people come from the source. See it there? The ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Right.
Debris, dirt, dry soil, dusty. I don't know. Some people don't mind being dusty. I can't accept being dusty, Sister Kareem. But anyway,
not at all.
So now we're gonna get into our ancestors because they support us. This is our brother, Dr. Yosef bin Yukonin, Dr. Ben. And I can't believe people that say they studied up under this brother, you know, don't even know that he had this stuff out here evidently. They couldn't have read his book. You see what that say right there on his book, Sister Karima?
Yeah.
Al Kebu-Lan.
That's that word.
Yeah, this Dr. Ben right here, right? So shout out to Dr. Ben. Dr. Kaba Kameni, he'll call the continent the same thing, a Kebu-Lan. Professor Small call it a Kebu-Lan. You see what I'm saying? All these elders call it the same thing.
Right.
Even John Henry Clark, Sheikh Antadil, all the people they claim that they honor, but then they want to argue against the term that these elders were using. Make it make sense. How you gonna say you follow these people, or you studied, or you a student under these people, but you don't honor what they taught? That's crazy.
Right.
You know, and if our ancestors called it a Kebu-Lan, then that's what it is. All that other stuff that they came up with that we accepted and not knowing, we need to get rid of that and stop fighting against what the ancestors have. It makes sense to accept the title that the ancestors called. And then you won't be beefing with nobody talking about, I'm an African. Man, so here we have it here. I spoke of this earlier. Remember I was telling you about the map of the Moors. This is the actual map. And now this will make sense as to why when I was showing you what looked like the north and I was calling it the Lower Nile. Because this is the Nile right here. Now when I say that this is, you know, the Lower Nile, it makes sense, don't it? Because it's down here.
Right.
But then when we go up top, now we say Upper Nile, it makes sense. But the map was turned upside down, and this is the way the Moors had a map, though. This is the same continent they call Africa. This is the Kebu-Lan map created by the Moors, 1260 AD. I mean AH, after the Hijra, 1844 AD, right? Now look at this right here. Look at that right there. Al Maghrib. There it go. Now all these names is what the Moors was calling these places in Africa, not what the European was calling them. And yes, there are there's African language in here, and there's also Arabic. See how they call it Wolof? That same area I was talking about, Senegal and all that right there.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are all African names. Hosso, Futa, Jallo, Futa Toro. This is where all the Moors and everybody come from, right there. You know, look at all these African names right here. Futa Jalun, all these areas, the Mandinga, all that there. The Ouagadougou. I know y'all done heard some of them people use them terms. Sokto, Kolifat, you know. So this is the Moorish map, right? This is the Kebu-Lan map, right here. You see? So yes, Kebu-Lan was the name used. Now here's a European that actually, and James W. Lee, this is his book. You probably see the flag on there and think of Moore read it. No, this is a European wrote this book. One World, One America, Tartans and the Moors. In this book, chapter When the Sun Rose in the West, look at what this European says. It's sad that he know our history better than some of our people. He talked about the Roman theory on Africa. Some scholars believe that the word originated from the Romans, and Romans discovered the land opposite Mediterranean and named it after the Berber tribe residing within the Carthage area, you know, presently referred to as Tunisia, which I showed you earlier. The tribe's name was Afri, right? Some people have this theory. You know, then you have the weather theory. Some believe that the name was called from the continent's climate, deriving from Afrika, a Greek word that means land free from cold and horror, a variation of the Roman word aprica, which means sunny, and even Phoenician word afar. So you can see the connection when I told you that Hebrew comes from Phoenician. You can see the connection of afar in that word I was just showing you in the Hebrew language a few minutes ago when I was showing you dust, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's saying it right here too. So before it became the Hebrew word, in Phoenician it meant dust as well. So this was a word that was adopted into the Hebrew from the Phoenician language. And then it says the Africanist theory. This claims that the continent derived its name from Africus. Africus, it says, is the Yemenite chieftain. It says who invaded the northern part in the second millennium BC. It is argued that he settled on his conquered land and named it Africa. Then the Phoenician theory. Another school of thought suggests that the name is derived from two Phoenician words, friki and farika. The word means corns and fruits. When translated, hypothetically, Phoenician Christian the continent as the land of corns and fruits, and we've seen that in the other source I showed. Then it says a Kebu-Lan, mother of mankind, or Garden of Eden. A Kebu-Lan is the oldest and only word of indigenous origin. This is European now. It was used by the Moors, Nubians, Numidians, Carthaginians, and Ethiopians. What did he just quote, Karima? The source that I showed you in the beginning. When I showed you the map, he just quoted that source. Verbatim, he quoted.
He sure did.
And it said, there's little or no certainty on the source of the meaning Africa. Several scholars have tried to explain the origin of the word, but none is convincingly correct. The names we think are European are actually names from one America, Amorica. It says all became one in Europe out of many, which the Jesuit revisionists and historians changed the narrative. One Amorica was the land of the brave and the home of the free, where the Garden of Eden resided until the white man narrative made it all backwards. It's a European, straight from the horse's mouth. Goodness gracious. You don't believe him, then you ain't gonna believe nobody. But they won't accept that because the Europeans saying something that support our people. So that ain't right. It gotta be it gotta be something that's bashing us for them to accept it. You see what I'm saying? It says whitewashing name game from many to one. It says the many of the native Moors and other brown skins went east to populate Europe as well. It says that is why there are so many cities and districts and towns with alleged European derivatives. Yet once again, it's the exact opposite. Man, this book right here, cold-blooded. And my last slide right here, you know I got to give it up to my chairman. Now, all that being said, this is what he said. Chairman say, you know, he was given a breakdown on these different names. Adam equals Adama, means ground, human. Eve, life, mother of living things. Man, Ish and Issa, thinker, vicegerent. Woman, Isha. Eden, God's delight. Let me blow this up. Africa, a Mexim, a Kebu-Lan.
Oh, yes.
By the ancient Moors and the Cushites. So the chairman was also quoting from that source. Even though he didn't go and run it down, he letting you know who named it. So we knew he was knowledgeable of that. You know what I mean? So he even gave the different names they use for Libya, known as Libu, Libus, homes of the Bubastis, Tanites, and the Meshwahas. So the chairman, he knowledgeable all that stuff there. Tanzania, right. You know, giving the original names of what it was, the White Nile, which is where the mountain of the moon and all that stuff right there come from. I'm going to show you that in a minute with modern day people. This is Tigris, you know, Hiddekel, as they call it, the Nile, Gihon. These are them rivers they name it in the Bible. You know, the 4 rivers I was talking about, Abe, the Blue Nile, and Egypt. He even go into that right there and tell you Egypt was a misnomer. And he goes into that here. So the chairman go into all that. But the thing is he also said it was a Kebu-Lan. So with all this information up here, and I'm the only one that probably ever did this right here etymologically. Right. You know, because people's trying to find the etymology. I'm giving you the etymology right here. And it go back to Kemet. You know, and it's all dealing with the same thing. It's either dealing with the land or it's dealing with, you know, a reservoir of a celestial, heaven on earth type of paradise place, as we can see. You know, I mean, it's just right there. I mean, so what more do we need to really know after that? But I do have this I want to show y'all. Now I want to show you in the modern times of what's going on here. So we have a people. And look at what these people are called. Sister Kareem. The Kebu, right? Of Uganda.
Right.
Now, a lot of people don't know that Uganda is really where they get the concept of Wakanda from. Because the U is interchangeable with W. The G is interchangeable with K. So if you change the U to W and the G to K, then what does it become? Wakanda. I wanted to show our people that right there because that's really just showing you how Marvel try to take stuff and put it out. Right. And then the mythos of Wakanda is that they come from Kemet through the goddess Bastet. You know, the cat deity, the same one on the wall behind me. You see what I'm saying? Sekhmet. You know, and all of that right there. So, you know, they be throwing a little truth in there, you know, mixed with a little bit of mythos. So here's this group, and it's 2 groups. Because this is the group that's coming up out of sub-Saharan Africa. You know, the Indu, or the Intu, some people like to call it. You know, and they have a language that's actually called Kebu. It's 484,000. You know, and it's mentioning all of this right here. See, their primary language is Intu, right? This is the Aru people. They got all of this. You can go and look this up. It's a whole bunch of sites talking about this Kebu people right here, right? Now watch this. I'm going to show you. Now this is more toward, this is, you know, the west aspect of what they call the West Nile Valley civilization. That's where they actually come from. You know, this is another measure here, right here. Look at that, Kareem.
Yep.
Akibu. So these people from Ghana, you know, the Akibu people of Togo, of Ghana, and Ghana was a real big empire. Remember Mansa Musa and all them, the Moors went off in there and they established empires later on. But Akibu goes all the way into this area. This is Niger Congo, the Kiwa people. And then you have another one, like I said, the one right there on the Nile, you know, them connecting to that. So, I mean, that's all the way across West Africa, the Axumite and the Oxumite kingdom. And then that's the alphabet right there. See how they have a C in it? You know, they got a G and a B in it. They got a K and a P. That's their alphabet. So in sound shifting, certain words that we spell a different way would be spelled, for example, with a G and a B instead of a letter G. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what people have to learn. And when you do that, then you won't be confused as to why people call certain things.
Right.
You see? You know, it's simple. Here's another one talking about the Kebu tribe. This goes deeper because it refers to them as a Neolithic people. It says the Kebu, also called Kebu or Akibu, Indu, are a tribe in northwestern Uganda, West River of the Nile, West Nile. You know, which when they say born, our people come from the mountains of the moon and all this right here, now it makes sense. It's talking about this same region. Remember I told you that the Nile Valley civilization is what a Garden of Eden was. Now it makes sense as far as dealing with the rivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see? And they even went on, you know, talking about, see, Ephraim, the name Ephraim here, that go back to the word Ephir. The Maddi people, which actually connect to the name Ma'at. A lot of people don't know. But it goes on down here, and look at these people in the modern time. So indirectly, they are descendants. Look at what it said. The Kebu are guardians and custodians of the West Nile's ironsmithing industry. What do you think they got it from? You know, it tells you that they was the inhabitants that arrived earlier than the 13th century. Though they try to say they came in the 13th. No, these were the indigenous people. They come through the indigenous line of the Kebu people. So now we see the name of Kebu or Kebu-Lan is definitely alive and well still today, you know, in modern day Africa. Come on, man. Did I just show this or what? I mean, did we make it plain? Did we make it plain, Sister?
You made it too plain. Like,
you know, and all you got to do is research it.
How hard is it to understand it?
Yeah, you know. So this stands today, and it's more information. But this is my real source. You know, I showed you everything. I'm really done now, but I will show you the source here, and I'm gonna get this to y'all too, because this has to be read by the family here. This particular source has to be read. It's a college paper too, for the people that get the real source. You just lookership. You know, here you go right here. If you running your beat, this comes from the Southern University and AM College, right? A&M, yes. Right? This is a paper. Darrell D. Adams, right?
Right.
And boy, do he go in his Sister Kareem. Look at that. A Kebu-Lan in antiquity. Oh boy. Look at that. A thesis presented to the faculty of the Graduate School of Southern University in partial fulfillment of requirements for the degree of Master of Arts. So he submitted this to get his degree.
That's right.
Goodness gracious. Look at him. And he got it. Certificate of approval and everything. Oh, he bragging. He flexing his accolades. You do it, brother. Do it. That's what I'm talking about. So evidently, if they accepted that in a formal school of education, you know they ain't gonna accept anything, because that'll destroy their representation.
Art, right?
Yeah, that'll destroy their whole representation. And I want you to see what he quote here, Sister Marina.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of this study focuses on the ancient African civilizations of Egypt, formerly known as Kemet, Ethiopia, Nubia, known as Kush. These kingdoms are the two oldest civilizations in the history of mankind. Both arose in the Nile Valley during the prehistoric time and have been in existence for well over 6,000 years. They each would produce powerful dynasties throughout the ages, providing the world with wonders which continue to baffle scientists, historians, and archaeologists to this day. Ethiopia is the oldest of the two kingdoms, is the namesake of the eldest son of Ham, who was one of the sons of Noah, Cam. Egypt, it says, who fathered Mizraim, it says, and the second son of Ham, and these were the first inhabitants of the earth after the great flood, which destroyed all previous life forms which did not enter into the ark that God commanded in Noah to build. And the continent of Africa has been called by many names, such as Ethiopia, Libya, Al-Kebu-Lan, which is the most ancient amongst the indigenous populations. The name means mother of mankind. Am I harping upon it, Sister Karima?
Yes, you is. I mean, there I go again.
So we already know he quoting from the same source we talking about. They say these kingdoms flourished greatly for thousands of years before Europe was even in its dawning stages of civilization. Both Kush and Kemet would construct colossal pyramids and temples in honor of their ancestors, especially as kings, who they buried as gods. These feats were achieved through the mastery of applied sciences and mathematics throughout time. The philosophers of Greece would come, it says, their philosophical views. So it goes on. I'm gonna send this, like I said, to you. This is a very interesting paper in here. I'm gonna just show you what he covered in here. Because like I said, I want to wrap this up and open it up. It's talking here in this particular portion about the definitions of the term used. It goes into Kebu-Lan, Kush, Kemet, Hebrew, African. The literature on it. The genesis of the Black family. It goes into all this stuff right here. So, I mean, you ain't going to get no better than this. A scholarly source right here coming from one of our people. So they can't say, you got to really use the European. No. You seen me use mostly our scholar. I just showed you what a European is agreeing with us. You see what I'm saying? So right here it says the purpose of this study is to address the problem of underdevelopment of African Black history, as well as it serves to shed light on the misleading teachings of Western idealists. That's what we're dealing with. Some of them done incarnated in our people. So when you see them, you know what a Western idealist look like. In order for the history of the world to be accurately accounted, it is imperative that the underdeveloped history of Blacks be devised and constructed as according to the true record of Kebu-Lan, Africa of the past glory. Then he go, what he said? To help the process in solidifying the foundations of who? Laid by who? The great Black historians such as Sheikh Anta Diop, John Henry Clark, Theophile Obeng, and all these men agreed that the name was a Kebu-Lan. Who gonna check them? Who gonna check them?
Right.
I'm just saying. So the ancients, it goes on, man. This is really overkill for me even bringing this part up.
Just
over. So anybody that don't want it now, they just don't want it. So yeah, I'm gonna send this to you. Like I said, I'm gonna send this to you, and I'll send you the PDF that I put together as well, so you can do your studies on it.
Love it.
Yeah, anybody that want it. And look at what they said here: heartland of African people. You know what I mean? So these terminologies, man, they have meaning behind them. There it is again. Definition of term used. Again, we're gonna read it to y'all one more time in full detail. Kebu-Lan, the oldest and most indigenous name for Africa, which means mother of mankind, or garden of Eden. He quoting directly from Robert Moore. This is the name that has been used for millenniums by the Ethiopians, Nubians, Moors, Carthaginians, Numidians, historically the most ancient peoples of humankind.
That's right.
Body bag. Go pick them up, somebody. So anybody that arguing after that right there, they trying to defend master. They better stop it. And we're going to run them up out the community with that nonsense. You can't get away. You can't sell that snake oil to the people now. And like I said, I'm going to send this to you, Sister Karima. And we got more, and we can open it up right now if we got anybody that wants to go into this. So all is well. Thank you.
So anybody that had questions, because you had a whole bunch to say in the comment section, you're more than welcome to ask your question again. And then
come up here with some sources too. Don't come up here running your beat.
Yeah, I want to make sure you're still here for your question to at least be answered. And you can get it. If not, you can come over here and build with him on the information that you agree with or disagree with. It don't matter. Come get it.
Right, but they got to come with some sources.
Oh, for sure, that.
Yeah, they got to come with some sources. So what you think, Sister Karima? What did you pull from all of this? Just your rundown.
It was powerful. Like I said, I built a platform, so most of the information that you presented was already. When I seen that, I was explaining to my sister that, you know what I mean. You already present majority of the information that I was bringing out. Mighty Hebrew can tell you. You know, he's on that same platform, and I got different videos and different things because I brought out that. And I didn't get no argument over it. So I was like wondering, you know, who is saying otherwise because a majority of people agree with that.
What it is, yeah, you know. So I mean, you know, like I say, I seen people arguing. I was like, man, they arguing. Don't nobody know that it's a Kebu-Lan? Like, come on. Like, goodness gracious. You know, I want to see if our family gonna jump up here and give some insight.
Right.
You know, yeah, because I heard you say they had a whole bunch of going on in there. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
they
looking
got a
through
whole
the
bunch of questions.
yeah, and
And
I
now it's,
see
it's quiet. Where you at?
yeah, and that's all we do, man. We just put this information out here, you know, to give our family the information, man. And this is to help our people. You know, we ain't here to attack y'all. We just telling you what it is. We trying to unite you. Every time we come out here, we trying to bridge the gap. We ain't trying to further demarcate our people. There's a lot of that going on already. Stop the religious game bang. You
Right.
know, yeah,
Religious
that's
game bangers.
terrible. You know, so I like I said, I appreciate you for calling us up here, but I don't think nobody want to come up in here with the note. But I appreciate everybody that's supporting it. You know, because you already know I got way more where this come from. You know,
And
I got some.
majority of the people actually agreeing with you in the audience. It was just a few people that had like some questions. And
Okay.
then the 1969, I thought he just was throwing shots a little bit, but I'm wondering if he was gonna come up here because he had a whole bunch to say.
Right.
You know?
I see one brother say, "Here we go with the comic book stuff." What comic book stuff? If you talk about the ancient primary sources of Kemet and a literal documented academic scholarship, if that's comic book stuff for you, then come on, man, stop the madness.
Hey, that's solar. Okay, where is that guy at? Because you sure had a lot to say. You was even talking about the dead.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, I want all the smoke if you with the foolishness. So don't come up in here thinking you're talking to somebody that don't know what they talking about.
I mean, the brother was posting a lot of information himself, but I'm like, oh, he called you a liar. So, yeah.
Yeah, we want him to come up in here.
I won't,
Whoever
yeah.
called me a liar, come up in here
68,
and
bring your
prove that
whatever.
I'm a liar.
We welcome all information.
We want to see your real muscle.
All right. You had so much to say.
Other than that, I'm trying to bring unity to you. Other than
Okay,
that,
Sola, how you
go
doing?
ahead, Solar Man.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
All is well, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a very powerful presentation. I think I first heard the term of Kebu-Lan from Yosef Ben Yakinen's book. And I always wondered, from the continent of Africa. Then when I heard where did Africa come from, and I was always a little skeptical of that name, But with that being said, I really, I appreciate the scholarship because we got a lot of people with a lot of scholarship, you know. But at this day and time, China is running in Africa or a Kebu-Lan. The China man is now going into a Kebu-Lan, and he's now colonizing the Kebu-Lan. So I think that, whatever we want to call it, we could give it a new name. I think what black men need to be focused on is how are we going to begin to organize and begin to get some of this power. I see a lot of people philosophizing. You know, we've been doing this for years, and this is no shade towards you, but you know, I was just looking at a news clip, and this was old. I just wasn't privy to the information that George Zimmerman auctioned his gun off that he killed Trayvon Martin with. So he put it on an auction block for $5,000, and it went up to $250,000. He was able to sell the gun that he killed Trayvon Martin with for $250,000. Niggas can't even raise what he started off with, the $5,000. If we was to get together and do something in a Kebu-Lan, we want to feed the people in a Kebu-Lan. Niggas couldn't even raise $5,000. I think black men need to wake up. Black men need to understand what world that we living in and what we need to do. I think that the black man focused too much on, you know, going back and forth. Like you said, the guy in the chat room wants to challenge the information and he wants to go. You putting too much energy into that. I want you to challenge this goddamn white man. We need to get together and challenge this damn beast. And then once we get done with that, we can rename the continent a Kebu-Lan. We could go and do all those things. But until we deal with this elephant in the room, we're going to always have a problem with being respected, a problem with our communities, and a problem with our families. So that's what I'm seeing. You know, let's recolonize the Kebu-Lan. Let's get the damn white man and the Asian man out of a Kebu-Lan. I think that we need to focus in on that.
And that's a grand vibration, good brother. And I'm going to show you something, right? Because, see, a lot of times, some people just put information out here just to talk, right? And I don't know how well you may have followed my particular drawing, right? But our main goal is self-determination and self-government. We done already built it, done been accepted and all of that right there, right? But what we teach in my circle, that one thing we had accepted is that some of our people don't want to be free. You know, so you got to let the ancestors sort them out and you continue doing the work that you do. Now, these measures are being put out here, like, for example, this. You know, the only reason that I even address certain measures that I do is to try to bridge the gaps. I don't like going back and forth and arguing, and Karima will tell you that. But she'll tell you I'm mostly a type when I'm bringing measures of unity. So at a point, I'm ready for the smoke when they come up here with it. Because now I got to do what I really don't want to do, that I turned away from doing when I was a long time ago, you know, spanking an individual with the information because they want to challenge it without addressing what was being spoke of. And so that's what I was addressing there. But I'll say this here, good brother. And I ask you this question here as well in the statement I'm getting ready to make. And you're right, most of our people broke as it is when it comes down to dealing with things economically. But yet not really. I'm going to show you. Right now, you said they couldn't raise $5,000, right? Now, is the problem of them being broke, or is the problem a lack of unity? Because if we have 5,000 people in here right now with $1, how much money is that, brother Solar Mine? You there, good brother?
Yeah, that'll be 5,000. I didn't say that we didn't have.
No, you're all right. You're all right. But I'm just showing you how easy it is to have $5,000. But the reason why we can't have $5,000 is a lack of the unity. And it's the same way if we had 60 million people in here right now with $1. How much money is that? $60 million. So what I always say is our problem is not a lack of finances, it's a lack of unity. And the lack of unity comes from a lack of love. And the lack of love comes from a lack of knowledge of self, because you can't love what you don't know. How you gonna love when you don't know you? You see what I'm saying? And so that's what these lessons in different degrees come about, trying to teach them to know them so they stop fighting over these titles. And then this won't be a distraction if we can fix this. And now we can get to talking about recolonizing the Kebu-Lan. But if we try to come together and not address the real elephant in the room, which are the things that they consider in division, we'll never be able to build nothing. Because every time we get up here talking about building something, they're going to be arguing over the blueprint. And you don't never see that on no construction site. If you seen that, we wouldn't see cities being expanded like that. If you had people getting out there, the electricians, the plumbers, the carpenters, if they was getting out there arguing over the blueprint, and that's all they ever did, you wouldn't see none of these structures being built out here. But we see people, when they get out there on them jobs and they work, they getting the job done. They throwing up building like crazy, but we ain't able to move like that because we too busy want to go back and forth over petty stuff. For example, you got people want to argue with other people because of what they say they believe. Them people got a right to believe what they want to believe. What you get mad at them, trying to push a narrative, telling him he can't be a Hebrew, he can't be a Moor, he can't be this, he can't. I'm letting them people be what they do, what they want to do. Who are you to tell them what they are not or what they ain't? If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. But you ain't got to attack them. And that's what we got to get beyond. Because you don't attack that European about what he believes boldly like that. And you talk about banging on him, brother. I done physically banged on this beast. I done put iron on this beast. You understand? So when it get revolutionary, they be talking that talk. You understand? But that's a whole nother measure. So I ain't got to even prove I ain't speaking to you. I'm just speaking in general. I don't have to prove how far. I mean, I was like that when I was 14, 15 years old. To the extent where the people that was out there that I was looking up to, that was out there slanging and serving, I'm thinking I'm doing something good. These Negroes calling the police on me. The same people I looked up to. Oh, he making the block hot shooting at the police. You understand? So they can miss me with that nonsense. But when it comes down to dealing with real growth and building, it's about self-determination, us coming together, build our own government. That's the only thing that's going to unite all the groups. That's another thing. You got people running around here talking about their Nation of Islam. You got people talking about their Moors. You got people talking about their Black Panther Party. Let's go Hebrews. They saying they everything, right? And they all against the government, right? But every last one of them got a 501c3 under the United States. And you tell them, break away from that and come up under your own government and let's come together. And they fight that tooth and nail, and they laying up under the beast, basking under assumable jurisdiction. So make it make sense. Do you really want to lead this beast? Because they're going to make up excuses. We can't break away from them people. Going to kill us. Man, we dying already. Oh, we going to die hard, I guess. I don't know. They're going to kill you worse than they killed you the last time. Come on, man, with the nonsense. So we got to have these conversations. At least what I do, I put this information out here to bridge the gap. Not to attack our brother that think they African. Or say that's what they are. You know what I mean? But to give the proper perspective so we stop arguing about that. And then we can move on. So last time they were arguing about us being black. And then what is going to be after we get through with this argument between African and Kebu-Lan? So it's like you moving from egg crate to egg crate, arguing over nothing. Hamster wheel ain't get nothing done. And that's what it is. So I'm trying to make it easy. All right, people, this who we is right here. You ain't got to accept it, want to. I'm going to put it out there for you, though. Now, if you want to continue to go back and forth after that right there, that's on you. But I did what I was supposed to do, and that's put the information out here, and hopefully we can come into unity. So that's what I say.
Yeah. And I appreciate, the research that you've done to actually be able to break it down the way you did. But sometimes it's frustrating dealing with the nigga mind. The nigga mind, for some reason, they seem to want to, go into this black hole of challenging each other. It's psychological. I think that, whatever information, you can look at every group of people. Every group of people got like a million things that they believe. Not all Asian people are Buddhist. You know what I'm saying? Not all Asian people are like just one religion and just one. I mean, so I don't think it's that. I don't think this whole thing with I gotta get another person to believe what I want them to believe, because it don't only go on in this circle. From in the street stuff, you got this gang going against this gang, and they're both black. They're both black. In politics, you got this black Republican going against this black Democrat. On Africa, you got this tribe going against this tribe. They don't like this tribe, and they want to attack them. My friend, when he's over in Ghana, he say that the Ghanaians don't like the Nigerians. So this is something that's psychological. You're dealing with something that the black men really need to evaluate. And, because a person like yourself that took the time out to present information, you took your time to buy these books to study, and you compiled the information. And now you feel as though that, oh, damn, this is great information. And I think that other people need to know about this information. So you want to go and put together a PowerPoint and do a stream. You got some knucklehead that didn't do no research, didn't do no study, didn't buy no books, that would just type and then disagree with you just to disagree with you. That's what I'm talking about. But until we really deal with the psychological thing that's going on with the black mind, and then I'm talking about the black men.
Well, some of them agent provocateurs, solar man. They sought to do that. And ain't no doubt in my mind that some of them in the bed with the enemy. This is just a new way of doing it. This is a different way of COINTELPRO infiltrating our people, to keep the conflict going on. You know what I mean? Because I done had Sister Karima tell you, every time I present, brother, I have people challenge me. But when it's time to get in the ring, they don't want to get in the ring with me. As far as conveying, because my thing ain't to prove you wrong, because we have a thing in my circle where we say freedom is not a game. And a debate ain't nothing but an argument between two fools. So I don't even really like to use the term debate. I like to use the term dialogue. But dialogue can only have when somebody say, all right, by the time we get done with this conversation, now we can come to a conclusion as to what it's going to be and what it ain't going to be. But if you just come forth and you arguing just for the sake of arguing, and then you end up where you started, then that's a waste of time. That's a waste of your time and waste of the time of the people. That's a waste of the time of the babies that don't learn. That's what I feel. I'm more trying to put stuff out there for them. Because if they looking at us and we going crazy in here with this information, they going to be like, man, I ain't finna go up in there. Them fools just like us, man. I'm staying right out here on this block. Them niggas crazy up in there. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking at. You don't want to kill, like they say, if you know anything about fighting dogs, they say if you fight a dog before it's time, so to speak, you'll break it. And I ain't making that comparison. I'm just using that comparison, saying that if you expose our people to certain things when it comes to dealing with behavior, and then you mixing it in with trying to teach them, you can actually break some of our people and ruin them to where they don't want to deal with information. You can mislead them. You can cause them to go astray, so to speak, when they might have been trying to come into consciousness, coming out of a hellacious condition, but based on what they seeing in front of them, it made them return back to the same stuff that they were trying to come up out of, and it may take them to their demise. So their blood is on your hand because you caused them to go back out there in that world when they were trying to come out of that world and come in here. So I look at things on that level. I don't take none of this for granted. And I really love my people for real. And that's all I've been trying to do, unite us. Anytime I present, I'm presenting something to show them, how we become one. But like you say, it's always a knucklehead. And like I say, I believe that they the enemy. Anytime you oppose something that's dealing with trying to bring us together, you got to be the enemy. It ain't nothing else you can really come up, especially when you ain't making no sense. You just come up in there after we said something and then bringing some nuts and bolts ain't got nothing to do with the conversation. You an agent provocateur. You was put here to cause conflict. And you on the payroll somewhere. You get paid to do it. You got to. Because ain't nobody going to rent that much space in my mind where I'm finna get up here and go attacking somebody I don't even know just because they presented something that I don't agree with. I just don't do it. It ain't in me. I ain't never been somebody that think about somebody like that. I ain't never been somebody that look at somebody and I don't like him or I don't like her. That just ain't the way I move, man. It take too much energy to do that. But I feel your solar mind. You're right. We got a Negro mindset, and we call it games of competition too. Games of competition. It don't get us nowhere. Yeah, so all is well, bro. I appreciate you though.
All right. Yeah, shout out to what's your name? The Jafia?
Yeah, that's Sister Karima.
It's Kareem.
Okay.
Lahafa.
Karima. Okay. All right, shout out to Karima.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? All right. So yeah, that's all. What I mean, like I said, I listened to the your breakdown, and it was reminding me of I forget which book that I read with Joseph Ben Gacken, and I think it was the African Origins of Western Religions. I think it was one of those books when I seen when I first seen the word Kebu-Lan, and he was kind of saying a lot of the same things, in terms of that. But yeah, I think I've been around for a while, and I see that niggas is just going to argue till they die. I mean, there's like a couple of people that passed away not too long ago that's been like on YouTube. I'm like, yo, you're gonna see a lot of niggas dying.
Argue to death, huh?
You know what I mean? On YouTube. I mean, they was on YouTube, and now niggas is dying.
Terrible.
And I'm looking at where you from, brother?
Florida.
Huh?
Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most racist states in the country, man.
There's a lot of redneck down here. They hide it though. They know better.
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm from the capital city, Tallahassee, Florida. TLRIC.
So that's like what? That's in North Florida, Central.
Yeah, Tallahassee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
North Florida.
Yeah. They say North Florida is the
Florida,
racist.
Georgia line. Yep.
Yeah. So did you look at the what's going on with that migrant crisis that's in I guess Florida's dealing with it as well. A lot
Talking about dealing with the foreigners coming over here.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, they coming over here talking cash junk. And a lot of people looking at it like they trying to replace us, which is really the goal in the agenda. To replace the labor that we put out here and get it cheaper.
Well, the way the system, that's kind of the way the system operates. Is a dangerous position to be in when the people that's in power feel as though they don't need you anymore as a collective. Yep. But I don't want to kind of deter the conversation to something else. But I appreciate your information, and shout out to you for putting that together with some very powerful information. It kind of did remind me of a time where information, for me, I was heavy into the information because I wanted to know a lot of things, and I bought a lot of these books, and I would read the whole book in like a week. This was like very heavy on just wanting to know, because they don't teach none of these things in school, so we already kind of a step behind because the The white man has lied to us so long that we gotta detox, and then we gotta get to a place where we now is willing to accept certain information. We can't just go jump into, the Cometian. I know some people that you grew up with that think you crazy. They think you done went crazy. The Cometian adept. That's the name that you go by. I don't know what was your name back in the day, brother?
Well, my name?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, man, I had a whole bunch of names,
Yeah, I'm talking about what they called you in the streets. What they called you.
Yeah, street name J. Lou.
Yeah, J. Lou. They like J. Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Done went crazy. He now call himself the comedian adept. They think that this is crazy because they've been so programmed by what the society has told them to emulate, that they think what you're doing is just kind of totally outside of their understanding. So it's a journey. So I understand that, but in terms of the time and what needs to be done, we are definitely, as a collective, and I'm talking about myself included, we are failing the Black family right now, in terms of what we need to begin to do and how we need to begin to come together. And if we are not coming together, and I'm talking about the people that, whatever information that you came into to bring you to the truth, you could be an Israelite, you could be a Cometian, you could be a Nation of Islam, a Moor. I got to the point where none of that stuff matters. Only thing I'm worried about is whatever you worship, is that God trying to uplift you as a people? Is that God pro-Black? That's what I'm worried about. I don't want no, and to be honest with you, I don't even want a universal God. I want a pro-Black God. So if you following something that is a pro-Black God, I'm messing with that. Because the Jew follow a pro-Jewish God. The Arab follows a pro-Arab God. And I know say, well, Muslim is no. When you convert to Islam, you convert to Arab culture. You dress like an Arab, you talk like an Arab, you use the language as an Arab. So when you convert to these religions, you convert to their culture. So that's their God. If it's a Black God, I'm fucking with it. So I'm a Cometian, I'm a Israelite, I'm a Moor. If their God is pro-Black, I'm with that God. That's the God that I'm going with.
Well, let me give you something real quick. Because
Mm-hmm.
you made a statement. I'm going to tell you something. Because, like, for example, I accept the Quran, I accept Islam, I accept all of that, right? But I also know that the Arabs, haven't been forthcoming with the truth about Islam. For example, Prophet Muhammad said that we take on the color of Allah according to the traditions. That we are the same hue, as his ancestors. And Muhammad's ancestors are contrary to popular opinion and belief. His grandmother, his wet nurse, and everybody was Cushites. They were Sabians, right? But the Arabs trying to hide that. And they'll tell you that they don't deal with nationality. So you don't deal with nationality, then stop saying you descend from Prophet Muhammad then. But they ain't going to do that. But then tell us that, the true origin of Muhammad, because Muhammad was a Cushite. We got the proof in this right here, right there in the same book they like to call Hadith, right? Mm-hmm. But then you got some people come back and say, if you say Muhammad was black, then you should die. So we know that stuff Arabs done put in the book. And that's why I be thrashing they behinds too. Because the Arabs don't have no monopoly over the Quran. They don't have no monopoly over Islam. But they tried to Arabize Islam. And that's why you got to listen to brother like John Henry Clark. He said that Islam would be successful under us because we practice the spiritual side of it, which was really called Sufism. Because we didn't take, the Sunni version of Islam and grow from it. Go back to history. The Moors was practicing the mystic portion of Islam. They was practicing the esoteric portion of Islam. That's what went over into Africa. You know, Sunnite and Shiite didn't dominate Africa. And so we accepted that and we embraced it, like Dr. John Henry Clark said. He said if he had to choose between Christianity and Islam, he'd choose Islam. You know, but it wasn't the Arabized version of Islam. So we have to also know the difference between the two. That way we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. For example, just because a book was revealed in Arabic don't mean an Arab understand it, because it's revealed in the divine dialect. And the Quran really teach you that Allah is in you, outside of somebody else's interpretation. If you read the Quran, it tells you right there, whithersoever you turn is the presence of the face of Allah. What's the Arabic word they use? Waj. Now, what is that Arabic word? What does it go back to? Wajet in ancient Kemet. What is Wajet? The inner self, the all-seeing eye. What is Waj? Inner self, all-seeing eye. So you look at the God within, not the God outside of you. And that's what we teach in my circle. You know, we don't worship gods outside of the self. That's called polytheism to us. That's many gods. The one God is in you, and therefore you can see him in your image. You know, so we are God. You God, our sister on the panel, she a goddess. You know, so that's how we teach in my particular circle.
Yeah, it's a good book. Wesley Muhammad wrote. It's called Afrabia, and he gets into showing how Muhammad was black. That the Quraysh, the tribe of Quraysh is, goes back into, I begin to see the Ethiopian Cushite lineage. He goes into that, so yeah, I understand that, I understand, that's why I said, whatever religion, whatever thing you follow, if it goes back into, something that's pro-black, this is a pro-black, I fucks with it. So if I'm going to be a Muslim, I'm going to be with either the Nation of Islam or even with a version of that, whatever Siraj Wahaj and whatever the offshoot of that with Worf Deen Muhammad. They have a pro-black thing that they go with the Islam, because I think that as what you said with the Sufi and the Shiite, and I live in Philadelphia, so it's a Salafi, version of Islam that's very strong in Philadelphia, and it's pro-Arab. So you say anything, the stuff that you were just saying right now, they'll be like stuck for the laki. They don't even want to hear that you talking, so yes, it's definitely a philosophical, spiritual aspect of this warfare that we have to get down, a psychological form of, rearing the mind. I think that that's one thing that Elijah Muhammad was good at, was, kind of retraining the psyche of the black men to kind of come together. And they had a way of code of conduct, not even getting into their belief system, but just the code of conduct that just kept them in check, was a very powerful thing. And he should be accredited for being one of the greatest psychologists in American history, because nobody has yet to do that, to get these men together. And these were the men that's in these hoods now causing terrorism in our communities. He was able to clean them up and get them together and get them standing upright and under the same accord. Yes, yeah, whatever it is, what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't, been to the point where, I had conversations about these things for years, as what you said, I do, I have a general understanding of a lot of the things that you were talking about. But, getting to age that I am at now. I'm in my 40s. So I'm looking and seeing what is going to be the future for Black people. And I'm looking to see, like, you know, what's going on with the people that's supposed to have the knowledge. And it's still the same thing with this, like, no organizing. Men organize, men create, men protect shit. You know, that's something that we got to begin to focus in on. There's a very important aspect of manhood. There's no way that we live here in these cities where I live at, and there's other ethnic groups of people controlling your communities economically. These are basic things that we have to really begin to focus in on. You know, because you know, I'm looking around and I'm seeing, you know, Black men trying to, you know, they ask questions why they're so disrespected. Well, there's a reason why you're being disrespected. You know, it's like a Game of Thrones or a chess game that you're not even participating in, you know, as a collective. And then it's like we for some reason can turn it on when it's with each other. Like, we're very competitive when it's coming to each other with each other. Like the brother that you were just seeing in the chat room, he just is almost instinct to say, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, he has an energy behind that. But he don't have an energy. He'll run to that same corner store where you got this Arab, you got this Korean, and he's giving this person his money. And he walks out of that store, and it's a person, and this goes on in every hood, so I don't know, you know, you walks out that store, and it's a Black man outside of that store asking you for some money or willing to pump your gas for some money. That's what you've been relegated to. In your community, you don't control the store. You're outside asking to pump the gas. That should be right there a sign of us saying, okay, let's push all this shit aside for a second. Let's see what's really going on around us. The Black man is asleep. If that religion is not telling you that that is a problem, then you don't need to be following that damn religion.
Yeah, you're right, brother. You know, the key is everyone has to follow their path to the divinity within. And when they sincere about that, man, if something make you good and make you better, if it take a man and make him better when he wasn't, you know, I honor that. No matter what path he take, he don't have to believe what I believe. I'm gonna honor him as a man, you know, because everybody's life ain't predicated upon what I believe. You know, I can accept that and move on, but some of our people, they judgmental toward each other, like I said, but when it comes to the adversary, they give him a pass, you know, and that's what I don't respect. You know, they want to be cordial with the adversary, you know, but with their brother, they can find every reason to nitpick with him, you know, and I just ain't like that. But all is well, good brother. I feel you. We on the same page, trust me. You know what I mean? I agree with you. Yes, sir.
How you brothers doing?
Peace.
All is well. Shalom.
Most I bless.
Brother.
Shalom. Most I bless. I tell you, I'm sitting on my porch, so I know that's Commission. I really can't see the other brother name at the bottom. But man, I gotta be real about this. Okay. If you look at the Israelite community, all the churches in America, even to let's say our civil rights movements, from the Black Panthers, from Marcus Garvey, it was always a practice or a belief that kept us apart. Okay. Even within Africa, you know, we deal with tribalism, right? It has always been something that kept us apart. I teach the Bible and I teach us coming together, but I also teach separation. good and evil. We're supposed to separate from the evil. But I will say this, man, and mark this. Out of my whole walk in life, my ups and downs, I truly must say the most unwind and entanglement things I've been in with people has becoming awake. Being awake, man. When you start speaking on your belief, your concept, and the grass over you so strong, and you meet other individuals like ourselves, we become what? Sometimes enemies. We got to do better, man. We really do. I just say most high bless it. Thanks for hearing me out. We just got to do better as a people, with the YouTube and all of it. Thanks for having me on.
I agree with the brother. That's what I'm talking about right there. And I feel the sincerity in the brother. But everybody got to be like that. Humble. That's what we gotta do. We gotta learn how to come to each other humble. Ain't nothing wrong with being humble, toward each other, man. Stop trying to feel like you got to push the line all the time. And once we do that right there, then we can move forward. But if you coming forth, with your hands balled up, we can't embrace each other. You know what I mean? We pack a mighty punch when we got their hand balled up and we going at the adversary. Like the movement used to say, brother John Africa them. 5 fingers, you know what I mean? You might slap somebody, knock them out a little bit, but when you ball that fist up, man, you really working with something then. And that's what it is. All that right there really represent us, different entities. And we just got to unite and harness the power of the unity. Brother Noble Drew Ali said it like this. He said, in unity, there's strength. You know what I mean? And so we got to learn how to unite. United we stand, divided we fall. So we just say gratitude to all y'all. And Sister Karima, we give honors to you because you have definitely been over here wrestling with the masculine energy for years, and holding it down, so to speak. And you ain't never failed, sister, when it comes to trying to unite the people and have them hear the information. I done seen Sister Karima cut into a couple of, like, will y'all be quiet and listen to the information? Because most people, like you say, they want to argue. They think that they done picked up that concept from the European controversy sale. And so they think it's about arguing and, this going to get the numbers up. And, they looking at a check, instead of checking the self. So all is well. And
Yes, indeed. Yeah, they most definitely looking at. I mean, and it's self. It's all about self and how well they can articulate the information and proving people wrong. And it's always a counter argument. It's never, you know what I mean? Okay, after this debate, let me bring out this information so people can really get it and understand. It's always, okay, there's somebody on right now. He's wrong. He's a lie. And, just not even listening to the full take of the story. It just, certain words just trigger people. Like you pull an exorcism on them.
Yep, you're right. And the thing is, you know what I learned, and you gonna pick up on this, Sister Creamer, when I say this. It's being honest. A lot of brothers be insecure because, put it like this right here: when you know that you stand on what you stand on, you standing on the truth. You don't have to measure what you stand against nobody else, and nor do you feel offended by them. A man that's insecure, he feel like when you talking, you don't even know it. Y'all ain't never met, but he gets sensitive. You ain't finna tell me how to live my. You don't met them type of people, Karima, because they know you may be knowledgeable.
I mean, I just got through dealing with one or a few earlier today, and I mean, you see it, you already know, like it is what
They
it is.
think you trying to, some people accuse you of attacking them, Just by you saying, you can just say something positive. Oh, you trying to preach to me?
All right.
Ain't nobody preaching to you, man. I was just speaking in general. And so that lets you know, like you said, they'd be triggered. And it's because they're
It's
insecure.
favoritism. I'm saving people when I'm just basically the information is important to me. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna let you interrupt the information, try to distract the person for bringing it out because I'm trying to learn. And if you trying to distract the person that I'm really asking you to genuinely let him speak so I can understand him or her, then I think you trying to damage me.
And you,
You
yep,
trying
that's
to
right.
secretly attack me and destroy the knowledge that I should be getting.
That's right. You're right when you say that, though. And that's what I said before. Like when you have people that be trying to throw a monkey wrench in the information, and they know what they be doing. It's like it's really disrespectful to the audience because you think they dumb enough to accept what you say because you say it.
And that's what I say. It's very disrespectful.
It's real that's an insult to the intelligence of the people. You're right, sister. And it's crazy, man. Our people, why they doing that? Like the prophet Noble Drew Ali say, "Our bread being eaten by another." Because you got to think about it. Look at how many times our people get in arguments over the same thing. And they could have argued about it 5-6 times already. That's why I came to the point. I ain't going back and forth with you.
That's
You know what I mean?
because they're arguing with one person and didn't get the results they needed. So they regurgitate the same arguments to somebody else and continue. Like they really trying to get, you feel me, so many answers to lead to their narrative that they're
Mm.
going to keep on going to the next person and
I see what you're
regurgitate
saying.
the same argument with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
It
see.
don't matter if 10 people is on the same level. They're going to try to find somebody. Actually, they're going to recruit other people to try to attack the information. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then they're going to just constantly, you feel me, try to, attack those that's, you feel me, against the information. Like, that's what
Mm.
they do. They do
That's
that in the
powerful.
back chat a lot.
That's powerful. That's powerful. You said about food, and it makes sense though. Like you said, they looking for somebody, an echo chamber, so to speak. And once
Right.
they get everybody that agree with them, then that make them solid. It's like, for example, you don't see me. I'm gonna stand on what I stand on, even if a whole panel against me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people can't do that. They got it's called codependency. They have to have somebody to agree with them in order for them, and that's what it boils down to: a lack of self-esteem. Some people trying to come in here and boost their ego up by trying to knock other people down. When you ain't got to do that. It's just like when I owned my business, I was like, man, I ain't gonna never treat nobody the way that I was treated by these other people I worked up under. You know what I mean? And then when you own your own stuff, you realize, man, them people do that because they want to do that when they be trying to antagonize you. They ain't got to do that. They doing that because they trying to rule over you. And I always say it like this: anytime you got somebody that come on a site, and they feel like they got it, is because they ain't got control in their home front. You feel me? So a lot of people coming out here trying to get some gonads. They trying to be men, Sister Karima.
Yeah.
So that's why they be challenging, because they don't think they're a lion anymore. like Cat Williams said, and a lion don't care nothing about what a lamb think anyway. They don't see nothing but lamb chops. So a
No, what
lot of
it is they haven't. We just gonna blame it on their personal issues at home, and they trying to, take take it
there
out
you
on
go.
each other.
There you go, right there. When you shouldn't be taking nothing from work, home, and nothing from home to work in the first place. But you right. That's exactly what they do.
Or,
Blame.
yeah.
Yeah, either that or blame it on the alcohol. I was drinking. I had too many shots.
No, some people just don't like you, and they don't even have to know you. You know what I mean? It's like, you feel me?
Facts.
The information ruffle their feathers. Like, they
Facts.
know what they doing. They know
Yep.
exactly. And so a lot of people genuinely don't know when people be faking like they asking questions. What they really trying to do is cross you up. They
Yep.
trying to get you all crossed up. You feel me?
Yep.
They trying to figure out what you can make a mistake on. And once
Mhm.
you make that mistake, you know what I mean? It could be genuine or something that they feel like you make a mistake. They're going to pound you with that one. Then they're gonna recruit other people. Hey, look what he did wrong. Look what you know what I mean. And then that's where is it at? Because as long as they can distract you, remember I told you they distract you, and how they distract you is acting like they genuinely trying to ask questions or derail the conversation and to ask you, well, what do you think about this? This ain't got nothing to do with what you just brought out. It's like many ways that they play a distraction. If that don't work, then they'll argue with you and just basically throw your whole point off. Because like this, all the information that you brought out don't matter if you like screaming, howling, and cussing. Nobody remember that stuff. So that's their job. That's what they trying to do. They trying to get you off your square so they can dominate the conversation. They don't want nobody listening. They don't want that information out.
Facts. They trying to convolute the conversation so nobody get what was said in the first place. And then
if people tune in, you feel me, every once in a while, so they don't know what the conversation about. And as long as they can distract that good information that was at the beginning, then because they really ain't tripping off of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they really was tripping off what you said, they would come with sources. You know what I mean? They'll do their little research and be like, well, this is this. Not just saying some stuff. They will literally genuinely go and do the research and be like, well, it says here and this source says this and that. No, they don't never do that.
Yeah, you're right. Some people just disagree just for the sake of disagreeing, looking for points of contention, to keep some foolishness going. You're right, sister. You on point, and you done seen it enough to know what we doing.
A lot of people send them. They send them over here to distract too.
Yep. You're right. There you go. He live. Go over there and get him. I believe that. I believe that.
On-call trolls. You can call them at any given Sunday, and they'll come over here and try to. It's not just here; it's different platforms. You know what I mean?
All over the place. Yep, you're right. That's why I say a lot of them. I think they be Asian provocateurs, because, like you said, they don't show up with the bull jive. You know what I mean? That's what they do. They're gonna come up with the bull jive.
No, but a lot of people have learning problems in school anyways.
That too.
They were sitting back distracting the teacher and, you know what I mean, being disruptive, playing games, joking, and, arguing and fighting. You feel me? So they ain't doing nothing different than what they was doing when they was kids. That's why I say most of these people be acting like kids.
You right. I didn't even think about that. You right. The class clown. You right. That's crazy, but it's the truth. Because a lot of people pathologically do have the same behaviors they had as children. They grown people, but they children in their consciousness, so to speak.
Grown men. You know what I mean? Acting like kids.
Terrible. True as it is, but that's terrible. You're right. That's exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you already know anytime you need me to come through, I'm gonna come through. I got a whole lot, to bring forth. I got a lot of presentations that I was supposed to present against some of them people that were challenging me. So, I unload and unpack.
You know me, anytime all you gotta do is say here, and here go the title here, create the link, because I'm all about the information. So, and that goes for anybody that has information, you know what I mean? You can leave it in the comment section and be like, here go the title. I want to do this show, bring this information out. It don't even matter what it is. You feel me? Because all information is good to me as long as you can be able to handle, the questions and, I'm not going to let nobody attack you. You know what I mean? When you come up here, I'm just going to have your back, but you're going to have to stand on your information too.
That's right. Right. Yes, sir. That's right. You know what I mean? And my thing always be stay with the information, and all the ad hominems ain't necessary. Because that's what some people do. They get up there and get disrespectful. And we don't tolerate that nonsense. There, we just shut them down now.
Exactly.
Get them off of here. You know what I mean? Because if you ain't dealing with the information, then what you here for? And that's the mentality. That's right. Distract the people.
He's trying to be the center of attention.
Yeah. That's what I think. Some people come in. If I can debunk him, then that's gonna make me come to, come on, bro. Stop.
You grown Saying you're wrong and you're a liar is not debunking anything. That's just basically with your emotions and your feelings, and that don't get nowhere around this place.
Right, right.
You feel
Facts, big facts. Yeah. So yeah, we gonna link up again, and I know you got to get you some rest. I'm finna lay my behind down too, but
most definitely. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please hit the like, and it's always gonna be more information.
oh yeah, we coming. We got a whole lot more too, and you free to tune in too when you see us go live.
I'm always tuning in and sharing it. Every time I see y'all and I'm catching it, I'm right there in the comment section.
Okay, yeah. Well, we got a lot coming because we getting ready to go into this papyri, which they done. That's a whole nother thing, Sister Creamer. When I tell you these people done screwed everything up, and they don't get it, you know what I mean? But I done put so much proof out here now they can't deny it, you know what I mean? I got so much, I always have receipts, but what they be doing, if they leave me alone, I won't have as much as I have over here. When I go to get them, I don't even be playing. I have 50, 60, 70 slides over here. So it done got pretty much to the point where I got whole PowerPoints in every area. I can pull one up at a moment's notice. And it's all to try to really show the people. But some people don't care nothing about even the real information. Like you said, they just want to argue. So yeah, all is well. So I appreciate you for having me, and you already know I'll be back over here again.
Right. I appreciate you. I like the way that you can communicate, and you're not biased towards, you know what I mean, to stoop down to somebody's level as far as the doctrine that they're studying, and then you can come off of that and you come many directions, you know what I mean, and you don't judge people for what they study. You make sure that's off top.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to. That's what I be trying to tell them. They don't know. Like I keep telling them. Years ago, I used to go back and forth with brothers, but my whole creed since I've been studying Sister Career Mainline to you, I've been hollering kumbaya from the time I came into this knowledge all the way up to now, trying to get our people to unite. From the time when I was studying just the Bible, from the time when I went into Al-Islam, and I've been trying to get our people to unite. And it ain't even just the people that don't even believe in, different beliefs. It's people within the sects of what they say they believe in. And they still disunited. You know what I mean? Yeah, I done tried to reconcile Hebrews with Hebrews, Muslims.
I know, that's why I say I like the way you can, you can come out of, any doctrine and, stoop to their level, but all of it's connected. All of it is connected somehow, some way.
Yeah,
and you can connect them dots.
And that's all it be. I be trying to show them, like, bro, well, y'all think we divided, that we really ain't divided. We united. Here it go. This is the bridge to unite us.
Right.
I don't want to see that right there. I ain't no damn.
No, that's what what's the name said, that you was going against what you supposed to believe in, because unity is not part of it. Like I'm not understanding where that came from.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's the whole thing. If your book, and I had, when I ran into them brothers out there, I was telling you about the Israel Church of Christ dudes. I done come across them a couple of times, and I'm out there telling them. So I started trying to show them where we won at, and they get up there, want to go into going back and forth. So all right, you want to do that right there. Now I'm finna go ahead and pull the scimitar. And so I went to spanking all of them. And I say, I come as a man of no reputation, man. I'm like, I'm here trying to give you unity. You still trying to attack. So you know what? I'm a go on about my business and let you do what you do. And then next time I walk by there another time, yeah, commission that depth. So it let me know they done went and looked and studied.
Right.
After we had the conversation, because that's what I do. I know some of the information that I bring because I dig like I do. People, it be shaking their foundation.
It gotta resonate on them, and sometimes it resonate later. They gotta go back.
They gotta go study. I make them go study, and that's why a lot of brothers be upset with me, because I make them have to go back and study. And then when they go back, then they'll come back later sometime and be honest. But some of them will resent you for that too, though. They'll hate you.
They're gonna see it. It's gonna be like different signs, some information. If you spitting that truth, they can go on the internet and they're gonna start seeing a whole bunch of stuff that's co-signing with what you're saying.
That's right.
That's just like if you buy a car.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody ain't their mama. You're gonna start seeing that car everywhere. You know
Everybody
what I mean?
with
So
that
that's just like the information. When you go search for different things, you start seeing it all kinds of places. You be like, dang.
Facts. That's
It
right.
come in 3 folds. You be like, whoa.
Right. You be like, old boy said that, old girl said that.
Yeah.
It come back to you.
It's like this right here. I was just talking about the name. And then I was showing my friend that I created a group and I was talking about how, it was connected.
Right.
And then you off top was like, yeah, let's do a, show. It's crazy.
That's why I tell people all the time, that's why my brother, he done finally come home, man. I hope he see me. But he the one that named me Shaheed. And he named me that because, it means witness, one who bear witness to the truth. But
Shaheed?
Yeah, Shaheed, which mean the witness in Arabic. And he would be getting ready to give a khutbah and speak. And what it was, I would be talking to him and he'd be like, man, you been in my room studying my notes. No, man, I ain't been in your, but and that's what made
Great
him
minds think alike, or you just had it. So
like we said, if you don't want more to know, don't think it. That's how we say in our circle. Cause
don't think it.
Yeah, don't think it, cause we thinking just like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that just let you know, like you say, like minds think the same. And the truth is the only thing that change not. So a lot of time it just be confirmation of what we already have.
Exactly. That's what I say. That's what it really is.
It's confirmation. That. Mm-hmm.
It really is. And it's only sometimes for you to see it.
That's right.
Like, that you was really on point of what you talking about.
That's right. That's right. It's meant just for you. It's tailor-made for you. That's right. It ain't meant for everybody. It's meant for you. Everybody can't go.
Nah.
You know what I mean? That's right. Yeah. So yeah, all is well. But we got some more that we gonna bring on the manifest. And you stay on the front line and keep your scimitar and stay in segment mode.
I got my sword sharpened every time.
That's what I'm talking about. Keep cutting them up, man, with that truth.
I don't want to cut them. I don't want to cut them. I just want to get them educated, just like me. I just want to sit back and let them learn.
That's right. That's right.
It's beneficial. Like a referee you with the whistle. Other than that, that's my whole purpose. It's just getting the information out.
That's right. That's right. And you've
been allowing you to be able to do it without somebody screaming and hollering and interrupt you. Oh no, you a lie. Well, how you know the brother a lie when he only said 3 sentences? Come on now.
He said 2, 3.
Well, you guys would just finish it since you know exactly where he's going with it.
Yeah, they gonna cut you off before you even finish.
They don't even know where you're going with it.
That's what I be asking. Like, how can you know something? You ain't even give me a chance to finish saying what I got to say.
No.
That don't make no sense.
And then the people that argue with the examples, like this ain't even the whole moral of it. I'm just giving you an example, and here it is. You cutting me off and mad about that.
Facts. Terrible. I think it's definitely some type of mental illness that our people suffering from, though.
No, it's not.
Mental slavery is what we call it. Mental slavery.
I found out that there's a lot of people that's just basically trying to sabotage stuff.
Oh, you say, they intentionally doing it.
Yeah, they're intentionally trying to sabotage.
So you ain't gonna give them no excuse to get up out of it. They definitely know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
Right.
They claim they smart and educated and all that, Yeah, you know exactly what you're doing. You feel me?
Right. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, you're right. It is some people that's there to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it's on purpose.
Hard truth, but it's the reality, though. Can't deny that. Yeah. So yeah, sister, you just hit me up, and I'm gonna definitely be in the loop. And all is well, sister. I appreciate you again for inviting me.
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank y'all for holding in with us.
Yes, sir. Shalom, Shabbat, Alahayim, sister. And thank you for keeping the universal page open as well.
Oh yeah, you see that? I just posted. I'm trying to keep that to where we can connect. Just like the little African page. I'm trying to connect with everybody all across the world.
That's right. That's right. You gonna do it too. I think you done mastered this social media
I already
thing.
did it. You feel me? I just looked at the little things and look how far we going and where we reaching. Nigeria, different places. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. I'm gonna have to sit down in class with you and see what I need to do, expand my horizons.
Man, I'm already in your class, peeking through the doors and the windows and sharing. So
All is well. All is well.
all right.
Well, all right, sister. You get you some rest, and you already know it's love divinity. And man, you stay on the front line. We right there with you.
That's right. Appreciate you.
Uncle
All
Jess
right.
and Peace and love.